Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Synth Geekery. Let us know if you can hear me in the chat. Okay, it is Saturday evening here, 9 p.m. in Perth, Western Australia. If you're wondering where I'm streaming from, yes, we are down under, down the bottom of the planet. We actually hang upside down like bats. But I've turned the camera around just for you guys, just so you don't get dizzy. I do hope you enjoy the show this week. We've got quite a lot. We're going to be crossing live to SynthFest. We've got our illustrious roving reporter, Ian. He's going to be there, and he's going to be telling us everything that's awesome about living in the UK and going to Sheffield for the weekend. We're also going to be talking about Some Idiot's album, and we've also got quite a lot of products that we're going to get through that were kind of released during the Bristol thing. And yeah, I think you guys should stick around. There's normal segments as well. There may even be a Name That Synth. It's going to be a very interesting show. But before we go any further, we should probably hit this button and say hello to everyone, including the two black squares. One of the black squares is Ian's square. The other one is Darren's. I don't know where Darren is. Did he say he wasn't coming this week? I think he did. Anyway, we've got some. We can sort this out somehow. There's 4. I think we can make 4. We can do 4. Let's play.
Darren family thing this week, Rant.
That's right. I remember him saying it, and I just I completely forgot. Now, put me up in the corner. Well, I don't really need me. Then we'll put who's number 2? Number 2 would be Andy. The number 3 would be wherever they are. That one. And number 4, Chris. Oh, this should work. I think we're going to get some pleasure out of this button. In fact, does it? Oh, look at that! It all just just all kind of sorted itself out. Beautiful. Excellent. So let's cross over to. We'll start with Ian because I think Ian's going to be on borrowed time over on SynthFest there. So we'll make him front and center there. Now, Chris. Ian, when I hit this button, you're not going to be able to see any of us, but we can all see you. You will be able to hear us, though. So here we go. There you go.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. A roving reporter from SynthFest. For some reason, it won't work with my headphones, but hey-ho. But this is the outside. Turn the camera on.
Geez, the weather's not too bad.
No, the weather's, it's a nice day. It's a nice day in Oxford. So let's go inside.
Here we go, people. Into the octagon we go.
Into the inner sanctum.
And inside.
So, Robert, this is the queue for the start of the queue for Robbie and Manny's synth, FM synth presentation.
Nice.
You'll see there's some usual suspects already stood over there. I see Jim Blues over there. Let's go into the main hall.
Good luck, Robbie. I saw that he was doing that at 4 o'clock.
Ooh.
Now it says that you're muted, so
There's those very nice dots, people. You're live on Synth Geekery. Oh, yeah. No, don't swear.
Leave them in the right place.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll have a walk around.
See you later.
And I think this synth here is what an awful lot of people are interested in, which is the Maximus.
oh yeah, look at that beauty.
Wow.
You can actually touch the knobs on this thing. That you don't need a pair of tweezers.
You got to be careful though. He might cause a meltdown in Chernobyl.
Yeah, I was thinking of that. What if you break it?
It definitely
It's
looks
not
like
connected.
East
Does not
German
come with a free
engineering, doesn't
nuclear
it?
reactor.
Russian
Nuclear
slash
reactor, optional
Ukrainian. Yeah. All parts are not from Chernobyl. That's interesting. That's kind of got one of those little pin matrix things, hasn't it? Nice. Very nice. Hi, I can't remember who that was.
Hey, the ample.
Oh, that's the ample. Nice. Wow. And the analog solutions. Hey? Yeah, still that. Still that, Ian. Yeah, just chuck that in the jumper, mate.
What a great old mini.
And I've just got the analog solutions sticker.
Yeah, keep that, buddy.
Here's another look. There's another ample here.
They do look really cool, don't they?
Very pretty.
I'd buy one if they gave me ample of discount. He's muting it, by the way, people, because it's actually really quite loud there. So
I imagine, yeah.
He's just basically controlling how much noise we can put up with. What do we got here? TR99 stuff. I love all the stands.
They were the new silkscreen panels for replacements for your vintage synths.
Okay, cool.
I saw that on Pro Network.
Dyne Audio, nice. I know that guy. Okay, we got some. There's a new Rhodes out, isn't there? I think they were announcing that a few months back. Wouldn't mind getting my hands on a Rhodes. I've got nowhere to put it though. Is that Rob? Turn right. Is that the AM Synths, Rob? Turn around, Ian. Can you hear me?
I know. I can't hear you. Oh, that's frustrating.
Ian.
How's the floor?
Ian, can you hear me at all? Oh, okay. What's this? Oh, IK Multimedia, is it?
Live.
Treat me the way you do.
Does it feel?
I see a ship in the harbour. What do we got on the right here? Can't quite see it. Ooh, okay. This is for all those people who couldn't make it to Sheffield today. SynthFest 2023. What a lovely guy Ian is, hey? Giving us all a little tour.
Top gentleman. Top.
So here is the Soma table, and I have had a go on the Terror.
Ah. Very nice. Oh, Andy would love that, wouldn't you, mate?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the butterfly wings,
Still
yeah.
haven't gotten one yet.
Now, Ian, can you hear me? Can you hear me, mate? You're
Yes,
muted.
I can.
Okay, you walked past AM Synths, and I was wondering if Rob was there. As in the AM Synths Rob.
Not sure.
He'd be a grey-haired gentleman. And I didn't see any grey-haired gentlemen there. It was on your right as you came around.
I think it's over this way.
So if you turn around, it'll be on your left.
We've got
I want to buy them in free, so that's definitely going to happen.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. So, I'm not quite sure where.
Can you remember where it was?
Hello, who's that?
Yeah.
Is that Ranzee?
Ah,
Hello.
Yes.
that's Grace and Andy. Hey guys.
Sorry, Andy.
Thank you, Grace.
Have you got old?
Yeah.
Not the Andy and Grace.
Brooksy is around somewhere, but
You went to the pub.
It's the other Andy.
there you go.
Yeah. Nice to see you guys.
Yeah.
No, that's not it. I don't know who that is. AMS. Stands? Some sort of stands, I reckon. Oh, I can hear tweaking.
Actually, the noise cancelling not doing too bad a job. You can probably leave it on.
Yeah, and you could probably leave the mic on, mate. You can't hear us.
Or maybe he can. He's just mute.
Ah, there's Gaz. Hey, Gaz.
Live
Hey,
on
mate.
Synth Geekery.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Gaz.
He's playing. Oh no! Killing in the name of.
I need a new faucet. Hello.
Hello, Ian. Long time no see. How are you doing?
All right.
You're live on Synth Geekery.
All right, hello.
Hi, guys.
Hey, yeah.
All the tone signs stuff over here, the tone signs lines and come out.
Yeah, so I saw your email.
Yeah. So when he's doing all the merch, and I've got the Chancellor modules and the triple cross that I've designed. in
HAH.
HH and obviously the super cool HH oscillators up there and whatever. So yeah, I came up with the concept that I kind of drew a sketch on a bit of paper and said to Alan, can you build those? Because I've got no idea how you build these things. Yeah. So there you go. So I'm up to date. So good. If you want me to give you a quick run through.
Yeah. Do you want that? Quick run through?
Go for it, Ian. Yeah, go for it, mate.
Yeah, just go for it.
I'll do the Chancellor because that's more obvious. I've got two lines, the bass line and the top line. Simply go through VCS to a VCA with an envelope control on that. Yeah, it's very simple voice. The triggers for the envelopes come in on the red cable, trigger in.
Yeah.
And then the trigger out goes to the envelope, okay? There's nothing playing, there's a 0% chance of probability it's not going to play it. As I raise this, you suddenly get notes playing. So you get 100%. Now, you don't have to have two, but it's nice to show you how one can play off against a regular beat. So if I bring in the top line, they're both in tune, but not put that in time. The delay is not an echo, it's a gate delay. If I increase the delay on this one, it'll drag this behind time of the bass. You get a nice little syncopated swing box. The length changes the trigger to a gate, and then you get this function called divide by n. It effectively beat divides. Excuse me. So here, about here, it's now half the speed. And then here you get about 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's now a third the speed. And then you can set all this nice little, add a bit of delay to that. Change the chance maybe of that.
That's actually really cool.
Is that actually delaying the CV, processing it like a audio signal?
No. I can manipulate this in real time.
Yep, pretty much.
That's the chance delay.
Thanks, Ian.
Thank you.
See you later.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we can tweak this StreamYard to Just trying to tweak the StreamYard, but it doesn't look I can. Do 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 do. So everything is pretty much in this one section in the middle.
It's like a big roundhouse.
I think he's going to walk out and have a chat to us.
Who's muted again?
Yeah, what's the name of the center that it's in?
It's called the Octagon, I think.
So I'm going to join the queue for
Theatre, I think.
for the FM presentation by Robbie and Manny. In fact, I'm going to join with Dots.
He's just queue jumped, everyone.
A ticket.
We're in trouble now.
He's going to get his teeth knocked out in a sec. Someone's going to...
Oh, yeah.
How much?
It's going to...
Couple of quid. Oh, there's your two sheep, man.
All right, Ian. What we'll do is we'll come back to you, hey? We'll come back to you.
Cool.
Good man. Thank you so much. Alrighty.
No problem.
Right. Okay. Hi from Australia. Also, we've got the US next to me, and and I think Denmark is where Henrik's from. So we're all from all over the world.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, you guys are muted, so we can't hear you.
You can unmute.
You could probably unmute, but anyway. All right, we will continue on, I think, to say hello to everyone who's joined the show. Let's start off with Andy, because you're there. How are you, mate?
Yes, I have my just woke up, so I have a kind of a Barry White voice right now. So, good morning, everybody. Anyway, yeah, it's had to catch up on sleep last night. It was been a busy week with lots of different things and not getting as much sleep as I wanted to. Had a fun little micro pub yesterday just to see if anyone would join late in the day. I missed pretty much all the European folks, but a few folks joined. It was fun talking about random crap. I actually got Paul Artola to come on. I think it's the first time he's come on camera, so that was kind of cool. Yeah, so that was fun. Other than that, just the usual stuff. I kind of took a modular break this week. I did so much modular last week, I'm like, I need a little bit of a break. Doing three entire setups last week for recordings and for live and stuff. I'm just like, I need a little bit of a break. So, but I probably, yeah, it was. Thanks. It was. I probably have to bring it out this weekend because Hardware Jams this weekend is using various systems or sources of inspiration or modulation from natural sources. So I think I'm going to have a bit of a crazy time with my. You guys seen one of those Myo sensor things by ADAC? You know, the Portuguese company.
Sure.
They actually convert myo constrictions for your muscles from your arms, face, whatever, to CV.
Cool.
So I'll probably finally get a chance to use those in something. You know, put on my face like that Japanese guy did in the demo, where he's like squint up his face, you know, doing a bunch of crazy muscle movements. And I also have the EEG to CV converter from I forgot the name of that Italian company already. Anyway, they make a bunch of weird stuff, so I'll probably use that. Probably use some other. I'm gonna do. I have a stethoscope, so I'm gonna record my heartbeat. Throw that in there, and some other weird stuff. We'll see. I want to keep a little bit of a surprise, but so the module will come back out again because I have to use all that weird stuff.
Do you have a white lab coat to wear?
I should, with all the science stuff I studied and all the biolab stuff I used to do in chemistry lab, but actually I don't. But it's okay. I don't normally put myself on camera anyway. But I will stick my arm in there or something, or my hand with the stuff on it, and start doing the muscular contractions.
Cool.
Just so people know what the hell I'm doing. So.
And
I'll use your module again, of course. So can't not use that.
Mate.
So.
No, you can ignore it. That's fine.
Actually, I should do the firmware. I haven't done the firmware update for it yet. Keep forgetting to do
We've
that.
We've updated the instructions for that, so I've got to put out a new version. Okay. We had a few technical issues. We think we've gotten past them now, though.
Oh, really?
Should be easy, much easier for you.
So the LED thing, it just drops the level, or do you have a choice of the LED brightness?
You have a level.
Okay.
You have an actual 16 levels. Well, I don't know if it's
nice.
full 16. It's pretty close. It's a thing with LEDs sometimes.
What haven't I tried?
The firmware?
LED intensity.
For
the LED
GP82.
thing. The LED thing happened instantly, so you've set it to a lower intensity. That was good. Straight off the bat. You guys actually, whoever's a channel member would be able to see the video that I put up during the week of the GP82 and the 960 sequencer running together. And you would have noticed that the LED on the GP82 wasn't as bright. So
you took the paper off.
Didn't have a piece of tape on it. You took the tape off. Yeah.
Took the tape off.
Yeah.
In fact, I've still got it all set up here. It's a bit messy, but you can see that LED is nowhere near as bright as it used to be. So no problems at all. Okay. Cool. We'll keep going with the hellos. So we've got, I think we'll skip one, and we've got Andy, and then we've got Chris. Right, here we go.
Hello.
Greetings,
Earthlings. Yes, I'm here again. Still here. Still building modules. Got 2 more built today. And, make it sound like I built them today. I built them over the last week. I need to test them. But churning them all out. Did a bit of work with Rant on the firmware updates. This is hopefully something I only really intend it to be for the beta team to have to do firmware updates, if at all possible. Want to keep the costs down of the module. So no firmware updates is the plan. That's why it's got so many features, kind of thing. So pretty much the whole week's been building modules, working, doing all the boring stuff of life.
You have been busy.
I have been busy. I have been busy. I haven't got a chance to start working on the clock reset trick that we discussed last week. That's how busy I've been. Yep. But I think I said last week I wanted to spend a bit of time doing something musical again. So I did a bit of drum programming, which I always enjoy, and I pulled out the Polyend tracker, but only really to record the click problem I have, which I now have full recordings of. A little bit more troubleshooting, but yeah, it sounds like it's going to be something I am going to have to send to the Polyend people to see whether they can confirm whether it is actually an issue or not.
Yeah.
And I've got to try a new project with new samples, perhaps all samples that I've created, because this was all done using their samples, and I don't know if that's has an impact or not. But yeah, I didn't have much time to switching it on, having fun again. But I had to. The clicking noise was driving me nuts, so I had to take a recording of it and get a dial on what actually was going on. I'll probably post something on the Discord if people are interested in what my click problem is. It's pretty easy to see visually. So
with the GP82 firmware, one thing I haven't been able to do yet is I haven't been able to. Well, why have you doubled up? Why have you doubled up?
Because people can't get enough of me.
Yeah. So I haven't tested. I haven't tested it with the 182 because I've had the 960 in. So I just thought I'd let you know that I will put the 182 back in and
I'm going to
test
say
out.
goodbye because we're now about to start the seminar. So see you all later.
See you, Ian.
See you, Ian. Thanks. Thanks.
Cool. So yeah, I haven't tested it. So there's the two issues that you've fixed in the firmware to do with the clock.
Yeah, to do with clock reset,
with a new algorithm now. So that is still TBA for me. I guess what we were able to test though is the 960 with the new firmware, and it was flawless. So that's actually a big tick.
Cool.
But yeah, we could test it. Half God, Half Beast says we could test it live, and we could if we have time. We've got a lot to get through today. That's awesome that you've got all that stuff done, Chris, and make sure you do have some time to make some music. I was actually playing with my Polyend tracker during the week as well, and I decided to get some drum beats from some favorite music that I liked in the 70s and sliced it up. I wanted to see how it would slice it. And so, because, in the 70s they had proper live drum kits and, a bit of Dire Straits or a bit of Pink Floyd or something like that, and slice it up and seeing what it could do inside a tracker. It was actually good fun.
Cool.
So yeah, if you ever want to play with the tracker in that sense.
I've wanted to play with that thing too. I thought loading up a break at least and going, what can this baby do? Because it is very much that kind of. I've heard a lot of other people's tracker-based music, and it does tend to be a lot of sort of breakbeaty type stuff. So
one thing that you quickly discover though is that there is a limit to the sample memory in the thing. So you have to, you can't have a lot of long samples in there.
I think that was the first thing I discovered. I loaded a long piano riff and then saw that my memory was like 90% full.
Yeah,
that was the first sample. And I thought, must not get confused between the amount of memory and the amount of SD card.
Yeah, that's it.
Very different.
That's it. All right, well, you're going to say hello to Henrik. Hello, buddy. How are you?
Hello. I'm fine. First, I want to say about trackers. Most developers are trying to make them as they were in the 8-bit time. So they are not making lots of memory. They want people to play small samples. Actually, it's a bit sad because if you made a lot of memory, you could still play small samples, but you could also satisfy the people who want to play long samples.
I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100% agree with you.
And
you can have both
willing
worlds,
to
really.
pay more for that. So
they could also stream off the SD card too, couldn't they?
Yeah, that's also a possibility. Well, my week, it's not been a lot of music, but I bought some electronics for my Raspberry Pi. I think it's the worst project when you know nothing about how to set it up.
Dumping in the deep end.
Yeah, I wanted an e-ink to. Yeah, I just wanted to get this display to work, but I still can't get the default display cleared. So it's still on the demo display. I love e-ink because it remembers, so it uses no power while after it's updated. So I
it's got a state memory. Yep. Nice.
Yeah. One of the reasons I bought it is because I want to play with MIDI and I want to have some kind of display, not a fast display, because it's. I want to. I don't know what I want to yet, but I want to play with MIDI in a Raspberry Pi, and I also bought this small thing, a Raspberry Pi Zero W, and a USB hub. This case is with a USB hub, so there's lots of ports, and those two together will be my MIDI box of some kind.
Cool.
Later, when I understand how it works.
It's always a steep learning curve.
Yeah.
For the first
That's
time,
this
but
week.
once you get into it.
Well, I have contact. I got contact with it now. Now I can see which version it is, but I still can't clear the display. So, but I'm some of the way. So
They're all asking for me
So-
to increase your mic, Henrik, and I can't do it from here because you're at full. You're at full this side,
I can
and
do that. So is this better? 1, 2, 3.
it could go even
Or
more.
do we want more?
Yeah.
I can also go closer. 1, 2, 3.
Well, going close is better. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But that's going to be annoying for you.
Yeah. I'll increase it here. I can increase it a little more, like this. 1, 2.
Yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Then I have to turn down my headphones in a moment. Well, that's my week. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, I bought an album today. A really good album. But I think we are going to talk about that later.
Oh, you're just being very nice. You shouldn't be lying.
I'm not lying. I'm not.
Very good indeed. Now, if you have wondered, he is sitting on StreamYard, and there's a link pinned in the chat, which is there. Up the top of your chat, you'll see a pinned link, and if you guys want to join in, you can certainly do that into StreamYard, and you just literally just click on that link up the top of your chat window, and you just need a browser and a webcam and a mic. You can, if you don't want to, because you might be still in your PJs, right? It might be Saturday morning, you're in your PJs still over in the US there, wherever you are. You don't have to turn your camera on. You can just put your voice in if you want to, or you can just show us in your PJs. Whatever, it doesn't worry me. No one judges here.
Perhaps not.
All right, we've got everyone. We did have Ian before, so big thank you to. I know Ian's not watching now, but a big thank you to Ian for doing that for us. He doesn't have to.
Yeah, thanks, Ian.
This is all volunteer, this show. So do remember, guys, this show is 100% volunteers. We turn off the monetary stuff of YouTube so that we can stream this without any monetization. So, as I always say, if you can support us through the super chats or through a channel membership, that would be much appreciated. And another way to support us also is through our Bandcamp. All of us have Bandcamp. Well, most of us have Bandcamp. I should say all of us.
Not me.
Most of us have Bandcamp and things like that. So we'll get into that a bit later. Just to remind everyone, we are going to be talking about a new album that's come out this week. And if you're wondering whose album it is, it's mine! Yay, finally. Finally, I've released my album. And a big thank you to Ian from Sinners Music in the UK. He's actually the record label that is sending it under. So it's a new thing for me. I've never done that before. And he's been really, really busy. He's put it up on Bandcamp. He's done social media posts. He's been a really, really good lad. So big thank you to Ian for that. We'll get into the album a little bit later in the show, so do stick around for that because it'll be definitely worth your while. You might even get to have a little listen to a few bits in. We can squeeze a bit of that in there. But we should start with our normal segments we should start by saying hello to the chatties because we didn't really say properly hello when we had them up before. So a big hello to chatties. I'll just say really, really quickly, massive hello to our channel members. And even though he's on the camera, JX3D, Henrik, is actually a channel member. He's a very big supporter of this show, and I'm a very big supporter of his stuff as well. So big hats off to him. He's a champion. Keith and Watford's another one in there. I think Kent Spong's another one, and Chris Maikshifter is another one. So big hats off to all you guys. So you're all channel members. David's there as well. So all the channel members, big, massive thank you to that. Now, all of you guys, I'm mentioning you guys specifically, were able to look only exclusively at a video that I released during the week, which is of the GP82 module with the 960, which I just showed below. And that was literally a little exclusive that I did just for the channel members. So I do plan on doing more of that stuff. That will never be released to the general public. So there's some of the benefits that you get as channel members in this channel. So hats off to you guys. Big hello to everyone else in the chat. People like Wagoo, who's been here since day dot. Matt Brown, obviously an awesome guy. Half God, half beast. Saw you there. Macrodosed, Tracker Jack. Awesome to have all you guys. If I've missed anyone, I do apologize. We do have to get through a lot of stuff today. So do jump into chat and say hello. Tell us where you're from. Don't be scared. If you're wondering about socials, don't forget, not that one. Why did it go there? Button above it. So StreamYard link, as I mentioned. But during the week, if you like to chat more about the stuff that we talk about on the show and other shows and other things, Discord. What am I saying? StreamYard. Discord is the place to go. Ad-free, which is a good thing. And no one's captured it yet. No one's taken it over. No nasty corporates have taken it over yet. I think Microsoft were trying to recently, but yeah. No one yet, anyway. Right. As we have regular segments, let's start with this one. Hopefully they work this week. Yes. Now, it's not worked properly, though, because it's not supposed to do that one first. Anyway.
Oh, no.
All right. So that one was what first came up. So everyone's been getting their Behringer micro and mini synths. And then someone suggested that I should correct it because we are in Australia down under. I don't know if you picked that up or not. It was that. And it's now that. Chris doesn't get it.
I get it. I'm distracted by chat. Sorry.
Now, Darren's not here, but I know Darren will watch the show on replay. I thought maybe the Purple Monster might have a girlfriend.
Oh, no.
I came across this post on social media and I thought, ooh. The Purple Monster's got a girlfriend and into Eurorack and buying synths. You know? Watch out.
The mouse or whatever it is will get jealous, I think.
Yeah. Well, who
is it
cares?
a mouse?
I think I may see a copyright infringement issue there.
Yeah. Speaking of infringements, yeah. Read that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a simple soul. I find those things amusing.
I do. This one kind of is down the same track, I think. You know, when you go out to the party and it sucks because no one wants to talk about the synthesizer. You look at the guy on the left, wondering who to actually focus your eyes onto.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Don't know what's happening in that little conversation, but yeah. Anyway, along the same lines, this might have been later on in life.
Oh dear. Story of our modern life.
It's all positive this week, guys. It's all positive. And then I like this one. I thought this was more something to sort of remember. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. So what if you haven't worked this out, chapter 1 of Amazon.com is in 1994, and this was it. This guy sitting on an old PC in God knows where it is, in some building in the US, in New York probably, right? And I don't know, is that Jeffrey Bezos or is that someone else? That could be Jeffrey Bezos.
Could be,
yeah. When he had hair. But anyway, obviously now, like it's, 30 years later, almost 30 years later.
Humble beginnings.
Yeah. So sometimes when you're comparing yourself to other things, other people, it may be at a different stage.
Wasn't it a bookstore from the beginning? I see no books in this.
No, they actually never had physical books at their headquarters. It was all cyber. It was all to do with programming and code, and they shipped everything from their website.
Yeah, everything came directly from the
warehouse
book manufacturers. Yeah.
Yep.
That was the whole thing. I did see a documentary on this man, his company.
Anyway, we're digressing. And I just thought I'd throw one in for the guitarists.
Well, it's not the only thing tonight that might involve guitarists.
Well, see, they share our pain when we're doing DIY modular synths and stuff. You know, guitarists they have to start with this. I mean,
you could do the same thing with drums too. Drummers.
I'm just thinking the first song they want to play from Robert Plant is Big Log. Boom, boom. Someone just threw their synth at the screen.
Or their log. I haven't built the synth yet.
Ah, dearie me. That's a great song, by the way. If you like drum machines just doing the same thing all the way through, but actually ignore that and just listen to really good guitaring, it's quite a good song. Yes. Anyway, favorite meme? Big Log or Amazon.com? Down under, down over, up under, up over.
I read
Andy,
Andy's muted.
you are muted, my friend.
Or is he? Oh no, has he had his audio problem?
Still can't hear, bud.
Oh no, he has had his Windows issue. Oh bugger.
Keep trying. Be nice to get you back. Henrik, you can jump in.
The favorite, the porn one was good, but it's embarrassing to say that it was the best.
I'm sorry, I've got no shame. I was happy to say that was the best one.
Okay.
People can read into that what they want.
All right. Andy's going to reboot, so he'll be back. Damn wind blows, he says.
Wind blows, yeah.
So some people are going for the guitar kit, and some people, so I'd say it's probably 50-50. So 50-50 this one or this one. There you go. We'll go with a tie, two-way tie. Nice.
But yours wasn't bad. It was good too.
Oh, you guys know which one I did, don't you?
Well,
mine. If you're ever wondering, mine never win. Mind you, it did win on Behringer's forum though. It was going nuts on their forum.
That's
yeah,
good,
they liked it.
Yeah, but you fixed it, so
I did. I had to fix it. Yeah.
Anyway,
you guys probably would have all seen it. So thanks for the memes. Whoever did those memes, send us a message. No one ever has, by the way. No one ever has. But if you do, send us a message. I'll I don't know what I can do. Send you a packet of Tim Tams or something from Australia, mate. What should we do next? News? Why don't we do news?
Yeah.
Yay!
News.
Why is it showing that? Hey, there we go. Software still has some glitches, I think. I need to talk to them. Okay, if you've been living under a rock, there is a company called Erica Synths, and they do make eurorack modules. And if you're wondering what they make, well, there's a 13-minute video here. We aren't going to play the 13-minute video, but they actually do have two new FX modules. This one, the black stereo reverb, and they'll have another one which I'll show you in a sec. Actually, I might as well show it now. That one and this one. Did you see it? Did you see it? You got to be quick. I'll go back. That was the stereo reverb, and that's the stereo delay.
Oh wow, that is subtle.
That's subtle.
Scary.
Very subtle. All right,
this is the problem. If you use renders, people, this is what's going to happen.
Oh,
We're going to do this on shows.
Yes. Let's have a look. I do like the big
That'll
freeze
be Darren
button in the middle.
Yeah, Darren will like that
Darren
too.
will love that, and the lights as well. Speaking of which, Erica do make really, really nice modules. I have one of theirs. They do a really good job of BBDs. Mine's looking a bit dusty over there in the corner, but there's my black BBD. At the moment, it's being used for something. I can't remember what it's used for now. But, yeah, so what are we looking at? We are looking at 280 euros / US, similar sort of exchange rate at the moment. Thoughts? We can go through the specs in a sec if you like, but any thoughts just based on that?
So one's a delay and the other one's a reverb, right?
Yeah.
And they look like a partnership with 112dB, which is
Dutch
another
company.
there.
Yep.
Yeah, thought so. Cool.
So they are DSP based.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering, it is DSP based. And
Always worth looking at digital, looking at delays and reverbs. So I'll check it out. And it's, but usually their stuff's pretty pricey, but it's less if you're willing to buy the kits.
Yeah, this is not a kit though. This one,
not a kit. Okay.
No.
Are they using the same DSP as Tip Top Audio?
They're using the 112.
I can't remember which
DSP.
it sounds good.
Well, I can tell you. I can tell you the specs. This might help give you a check. So it's 48K 24-bit. So that may give you a look into it. There is a user manual here. I could probably click on that. That tells me anything. I don't really know if it's going to tell me what type of DSP chip they're using. It does firmware updates via an audio file.
Bit like the FX8.
Yeah.
Possibly a similar.
So the DSP hardware is Erica synths, and the algorithms are 112dB.
That makes more sense because I was thinking of 112dB for their plugins, because they were the guys, weren't they? The guys who did emulations of like the Lindron DACs and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's their software written for Erica synths hardware. That's pretty cool.
Is audio working now? You guys hear me?
Yay, we can hear you.
Oh, yay, we can hear you, mate. Excellent.
Okay.
Wind blows.
It does. Well, that's one hell of a data sheet, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just reading this thing about the DSP. It doesn't actually say anything in this, so we probably need to, refer to other social media, Henrik, about who that DSP belongs to.
Yeah.
But anyway, both of those modules are pretty much the same, as you saw. So I did that little trick before where I went, did you see it? Oops. We don't want that. Go away. Yeah. There you go. It's literally...
Wow.
Boom. I can only see about 4 things change.
I wonder if you can flash. Can you flash the firmware to change it from one to the other? That's the obvious question, isn't it?
I wouldn't be surprised because it's got all the same controls.
It does seem to be a popular.
Could do it with a switch.
Very good pickup too. Well done for that. Okay. I don't know, Andy. We'll skip this one for you, but they're the two Erica Synth FX modules. They're DSP based. The black reverb.
I like their stuff.
Yeah. But you can.
Their modules are kind of big sometimes, but I like Erica stuff. I had their first Polyvox filter clone that they made. So
yeah, I just kind of showed that they're the same size as this one here. So it's not.
That's not bad.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, I'd consider that.
What are they? 12 HP.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next.
Before you continue,
yes.
The Erica Synth stuff, those two, the reverb and the delay, it reminds me a bit about the Versio series from what are they called?
Aero
I can't
Instruments?
remember.
No, the Desmodus versus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't remember the
It
name.
reminds me of them. So if they do it as they do, where you can flash the firmware with other updates, and they continue to make more updates, then it would be very interesting.
Well, yeah. If
I have
112
I have the
dB
Virgin
keep doing-
Desmodus. Yeah. What are you saying?
Mm.
I didn't hear.
If 112 dB keep doing updates, that would be good.
Yeah. Yes, that was it. Let's continue.
Oh, okay, good. Back to here. All right, Singularity, Tropical Noise by Error Instruments. Yeah, another Eurorack module, which will be to everyone's delight. This is brand new, released 28th of September.
Okay. This is Paltas Error Instruments, and this is something new. And it looks really brave, but it's totally crazy. Singularity, Tropical Noise. Yes. What is it? It's really something that not ever is made, I think. For people who don't know what is singularity, that means if two computers gonna talk with each other, and then it's gonna be dangerous, or there's gonna be some inside-out stuff. What is this about? The tropical noise we had before, and then you play with capacitors. So there are two capacitor banks over here that you can use for rollouts. Now the dividers are open over here that you can use in your setup, and they are in and output, so it gets now some trigger input from this. And what's also really strange, what not is made in Eurorack before, is that you can use this model passive or active. So there is an in-between. So there is a knob here for the power, and it can get more power or less power. And if you don't have power, it gets the pulses from the CV from other things or the triggers. And you can also CV that, so you can control if it's passive or not, and how much passive if it is or not. How strange it sounds. Now it gets some triggers from up in the dividers, and there is a compartment here, a tropical capacitor and a normal capacitor, and it comes with 10 capacitors and 3 small patch cables like that to make these internal patches. But it's really like an analog computer. Then you have upstairs over here the audio output, the control voltage output, and the low pass gate output. So you can put a trigger in here to make drum sounds with it also, like the original one. Oh, sorry for for touching the camera. Yeah, I'm not such a pro. Okay, let's listen a little bit, and then I'm gonna take the capacitor out and play with the passive part and the active part. Here we go. That analog rollout of the filling of the capacitors and the chips that you hear, this kind of rolser that Fiat Lombardi use, and yeah, more things like Noon from Landscape. It's a passive drum synth that is also really interesting. So yeah, you have this kind of sound. Okay, we go on. Okay, I got a little.
I probably would have rebooted my computer by now. Seriously, that thing is like a noise machine. If you're wondering, there's a few people in chat that are saying, "What is this? What is this? What is this?" And I think this guy, he's not really the sort of person that you would put in front in marketing. He's kind of more just he's more of an entertaining sort of guy. He's more of a musician, right? What it is, it's a clock generator. It's a modulator for CV and clock, and it also has obviously drum sounds in there and noise. It's like a synth noise voice as well. So that's pretty much what it is. If you wanted to give it like a pigeonhole where it belongs to. But what I found interesting was that he made some references to some bands that were using these tropical caps to make drum sounds, right? And you probably would have seen when he pulled that cap out how it lost the filtering effect of the drum. So that cap is kind of, I'm guessing they're overdriving the cap. Is that what they're doing with voltage? And then when he pulled it out, it becomes a passive sort of sound. So the cap is kind of introducing some sort of overdriven filter. Very quick. It's like a very, very quick sort of percussive filtering sort of clicky sound, but it had a ramp on it, so you could definitely hear it. Go back and watch it again, you'll see what I mean. There's a bit more that he goes into in the video too, where he starts patching some more of the internal patchings of this thing. It's a very, very interesting module. I think it would be a big head scratcher for a lot of us, but I don't know, like maybe if you're into sort of new sort of percussive sounds and weird clock generations, I think this would probably be something that you'd like, because it does some erratic, crazy things, and some people like that about Eurorack. Some thoughts. Chatties are saying pretty much the same thing as what I said. It doesn't make sense. Annoying that VHS effect. Yeah, Babs, definitely agree with you. He should have just he should have just shown a nice clear picture of his module like this.
I forgot to listen to what he said for the first 2 minutes because I was thinking of that.
If he just turned it off after he'd done the intro, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
What it ruins it too, that it has a modern date and the VHS effect. I'm like, what are you trying to tell us here? It's like,
you're
not fooling anybody, and it's just annoying. Yeah,
we're kind of struggling with this, aren't we? The younger generation may not though. The younger generation, that'll just 747 over their head. They'll be fine with it. Yeah. Who likes this? Eddie?
It's interesting. It reminds me kind of the Electron 4060. You guys ever play with one of those?
No.
You know what the Electron is? It's a module with a bunch of it's actually a standalone box with a bunch of knobs and a patch bay for putting various capacitors, resistors, and diodes and stuff in there and making weird sounds, mostly noisy stuff, custom circuits with it, and it's popping in the noise music realm.
Yeah.
Mainly because it is noisy. Like this thing is very noisy as well. So this one's just got capacitors you're playing with, charging, discharging capacitors. But the Electron you can play with lots of different components and get various noisy bits and time-based sweeps and triggers and blips and bleeps and all that kind of stuff. So
like a Mark Mothers bar sort of stuff, right? The Devo.
Well, Mark does more pretty stuff though. I mean, Devo's known for their weird sounds as well, but a lot of them, like Mark Mothers, when we talk to music output, has actually been pretty cool, even though some of it's a little edgy.
Well, it's circuit band. Absolutely circuit band, though.
Yeah,
I have the extended version of it.
Sorry, what was that?
Check out the Electron if you want something similar.
I have the extended version.
There you go.
I've got some butter in the fridge if you want to put it on your breadboard. What do we do? This button. What are you showing us, Mr. Mute Man? Still muted. You're still muted. Yeah. Be frustrated.
But the
there you go.
Sorry.
Don't drop it.
This is going well. This is going excellent. I'm just going to turn off the power because that usually works better. Okay, so now you can see it. Right. this thing here called the Astro Noise.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a little picture of, you remember Asteroids game from the 80s, Asteroids?
Oh, I love the
arcade
Asteroids
game.
game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is a module
Boom,
which
boom,
has
boom, boom.
a whole lot of CMOS computer components in it, like chips, just CMOS chips, and it generates very similar noises to what I was hearing there. I suspect the drum module part of that module is very similar to this one,
Right.
inspired by it. This one's from Synthotech, and
like
it does
Synthotech stuff.
Yeah, so it does. This is a kit that I built, and it does those kind of noisy sounds. Great for that sort of, arcade game style, early arcade game style kind of drum hits and stuff like that. It's got decay envelope and a pitch.
8-bit drums.
It's similar. Yeah, so that's another option if you're looking for those kind of sounds. It doesn't have any funky stuff with plug-in capacitors or anything like that, which is very popular right now, I'm noticing. So that's
do the Atari Punk console as well.
Yeah. Although that's quite chaotic, the Atari Punk console.
Yeah.
And you can damage your speakers.
Well, I mean,
You can blow your cones with an Atari Punk.
sometimes Eurorack is kind of like someone builds something and then he thinks to himself, or she thinks to herself, or whatever. I'm not going to go there. I shouldn't talk like that. Anyway, I'll get myself in a massive corner and I won't be able to get out of it. Anyway, somebody builds something and goes, oh, I want to share that with the world. And this is probably one of those things. If it's for you, great. If it's not, that's great too. But if you're wondering if you do want to buy it, it is $299 US, and I believe it's available now. So, yeah, I haven't seen this being posted anywhere on social media. So I do like Error Instruments. Paul's his name. He's pretty cool. So he entertains me with his awkwardness and his videos. I love that. It's like it reminds me of me and my awkwardness when I do videos. So
we all feel awkward.
Yeah. Awkward. We need to get comfortable with awkwardness.
That's right.
He's entertaining, but if he rambles too long, you want to get to the point of hearing the module. So it's like,
look, he's telling us in his way, right? And I like that. I dig it. That's his way. That's his character.
That's what pause and record and restarting is for. That's what do takes.
Yeah, that's what video editing is for.
It is
exactly.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It is indeed. Look, that may be interesting for someone. I do kind of like the idea. I mean, Henrik was kind of picking up on it. I do like the idea of a little breadboard sitting on the bottom of a module that you can muck around with. I think that's pretty cool. That's not the first person to do this, by the way.
No, seen.
Yeah, Electron's the big one. That one's crazy.
All right, shall we move on? Henrik, you going to let me move on? Just in case. Hang on.
I'm kind.
This one, Frequency Central strips. Yes, they do. They get their gear off. That's exactly what they're doing. The whole lot of staff working at Frequency Central, they've all got their gear off and they've built this module. It's actually, if you're wondering, it's actually an expandable 4-channel VCA. No videos, by the way, so you're just going to have to listen to my boring voice, I'm afraid. It's a stereo mixer with tone shaping. I actually need a bit of tone shaping, but we won't go there. And FX bus. So for those who are wondering, you can actually build this thing yourself. You can buy it as a DIY for about £50. You can buy it with the chips and the panel for £85, or you can buy it fully assembled. That's a new word. Fully assembled for £250. These are a UK-based company. I do like Frequency Central, by the way. I've got a few of their things. Anyway. So what does this do? So this has 3 LM13700 for those playing along at home. What are they? They are VCA chips, right? And you can bring 4 inputs in with high, low level FXN, pan and mutes. You guys can read the screen, I'm sure, right? Now, the mutes are momentary buttons. You can see the white mute buttons, and they will indicate with a light as well, which also I believe is a peak light as well. And and there's scribble strips down the bottom. That's what those white areas are for you to write on with your pencil or Sharpie if you dare. This is also expandables. Yes, you can put 16-pin to 16-pin cable, and it will power the second strips module, and that will give you 8 channels. So it is a little chunky on the chunky side. How many HP was it? I can't remember. Here we go. 20 HP.
20.
So
that was my guess. 20
HP with 40 HP if you want the 8 stereo channels. Anyway, VCAs for mixing, people. Who here knows what an LM13700 is?
Transconductance op amp. And the other person who definitely knows that is Kent, and if he's still in the stream, he'll be able to chime in.
Frequency Central missed the boat of doing
you
the
might
coolest
correct me,
video.
actually.
They could have like literally started pulling their clothes off and going, "Look, guys, we strip." No, anyway.
Did you say it was a DIY kit option?
Yep, panel and PCBs for £50.
Just
PCB,
a little
chipset, and panel for £65. Yeah,
Just a little tip for people at home: do not try to solder without your clothes on. Okay, that's the community announcement over. Don't ask me how I know that.
We're not going to ask you, but just remind me. Yeah.
They should take the module with the mini spotlight and done like a little fan dance with it. You know, stripper. You know, so.
Oh my god. We are going to die. It's actually quite hot here today. Right. Anyone else want to comment on the strips? No? Cool. FX Send, by the way, is...
just one.
One, yeah. A little annoying. Yeah.
I'm the same. Right. Needs to be 2 minimum now these days.
I think, yeah. Oh, yes, this. Okay.
Donna, it's not an Apple TV.
Donna, and no, they aren't a kebab company. They have brought out a new product, and this one's called the Meadow, or I think it's Meadow. Let's not say Meadow. And they got to a pretty good spot in that music part with that synthy bit, and then they brought the NAF drums back in. Anyway, I didn't mind it. It was okay. It's what you expect from Donna. Have you guys got any Donna stuff? They've done a couple of things now: bass synth, a keyboardy sort of synth thing.
That's a good prices though and stuff for sure.
Yeah, well, this thing at the moment is on Kickstarter, and you can get it for, last time I looked at it was about an hour ago, and they've already got another 100 backers. Wow, this thing is flying. They've already reached their goals, but you can get this thing for 50% off at the moment. There is, how many is left? Yeah, quite a few left. For it's about 230 Australian or about 150 US. I don't know. You guys can do the exchange rate. 1,168 Hong Kong dollars is whatever that equates to in your part of the world. You can then wait if you want and get the more expensive one, or then you can wait even longer and get the more expensive one again. The recommended retail price for this thing will probably be at $298. So I don't know if they're going to sell anything at $298.
Yeah.
Not with this.
Like I said in the chat, it's basically the Rolly Block meets the Orba. So it's It's not very original.
All of this is going to come down to how the sound on it, right? It is a sample player. So they're saying,
But they put the accelerometer in it so you can bang it, You can tap it, you can bang it, you can do all that stuff.
You can record. It does have a dynamic looper. Those sort of things are always going to be the contentious part of it, like how it records, how the looper works, how intuitive that is. Always going to be the contentious part. But when you're thinking about what's $150 US, it can't be that contentious. I mean, we're talking Behringer land prices, right? We'll sort of loop them in the same bracket. Anyway, just interested in.
Is it app-based or standalone?
I believe there is some sort of companion app with it, but it is standalone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like Orbit. That's what Orbit did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a built-in microphone, a built-in looper. Obviously, there's some sort of level of storage of this. It's got RGB lighting. You guys can see what I'm reading. It's got a built-in speaker. I don't like that comment. Endless possibilities.
Yeah, it's not,
that's just.
I mean, it does sample, so I guess.
What else can we say?
In that way, it is endless. But
it did say something about the. No, it doesn't here. I was trying to find where it said something about the storage of this thing. Sorry if I'm scrolling a bit quick, but I'm actually a very quick reader. So I do apologise if your eyes are getting dizzy. But I'm trying to find out how much it stores. No, I can't see it. I'm sure it says it somewhere. In fact, I will keep looking while you guys have a chat about it. How's that sound? And I'll get back to you on that. So $150 or $298 if you're snoozing on it. Who wants to go first? Actually, I'm going to go with you, Andy, because I know this is sort of in your sort of realm, right?
I mean, I'm dumb enough to probably buy one, but I like, as you know, I like little controllers and gadgets and weird, silly things to try different approaches to stuff, especially portable stuff. So I to be honest, I was under a rock. I didn't know about this, so I have to go look into it. But I mean, if it's cheap enough and they deliver on it, then it might be fun for some stuff. I'm not expecting to do. The Orba is actually pretty powerful and pretty cool. They updated it quite a bit, especially with the Orba 2.
Yeah, Orba 2, yeah.
And I've used Orba 2 to control synths and stuff. Just Bluetooth to the phone to a wire to the synth. Works fine. You can control it, and you can use the rotational stuff. You can use the bang for like a different. The bang can actually be a different trigger, so I can be playing notes on the touchpad, and then I can bang it to make it do something different. But this thing probably is more simple as far as like just dealing with the samples it has on board.
If you can change them,
less than a controller. Yeah, but I mean, as far as I don't think they're intended to be a controller for other gear, even though you could.
Oh no, it does have MIDI.
It's like. Yeah, but I don't know. It just depends how they implement it, right? I mean, Orba has a lot of different CC options on it. Even some new stuff. There's it's a twist mode, which is you have to dial in some CC. You actually run out of CCs for normal stuff pretty quickly because they added some extra modes to it.
Sorry to interrupt, but the developers are promising that it does have MIDI on board and you can seamlessly connect it to your DAW and control things with it. So they are promising that. And also, while you're at it too, good. 2,000 milliamp battery rechargeable inside.
Okay.
So I think those are the sort of two things that you'd be looking at. But it is very Orba
basically.
2.
Yeah.
December is when they're shipping it, by the way. So it's not that far away.
Like there's some stuttery bits on there, and I don't know if that's intentional or he was playing it poorly. Did you hear that? Some of the playback was pretty rough.
Yeah. What sort of controller
is that a bad a bad interface, or is that
the
guy playing it poorly or whatever? So
Yeah, I mean these guys are based in China. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There's heaps of things based in China. And I personally don't have a problem with it either.
Behringer's stuff's made in China, so
yeah. I mean the sampling stuff we need to find out more. It does go into a little bit like 128 bars and there's a quantity, but what we want to know is How long can the samples be? It said something like you can record, right? I'm not talking about how long you can record for, but how long can the samples, if I pull them in via the USB or whatever, how long can they be? How hard that's going to be? What the companion app's like? There's a whole bunch of questions that we will probably need to have answers to. But there is an article.
And if it's standalone, you want to make sure there's no lag with the recording and stuff. So if you're sampling the field, you want to just get playing. You don't go, oh, now I have to go to an app and edit it, and now I can start playing. That's not standalone.
No, it did. It did show the recording on the video. I probably didn't show it. Video's a bit longer. There's another couple of videos on the Kickstarter page which you'll be able to have a look at. Yeah. It did seem to be reasonable, that part of it.
Yeah.
Unless it's like really swift of the eye editing on the video side, but it did seem to be reasonable.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll probably be dumb enough to buy one. So
yeah, well, $150. Jeez.
Yeah,
it might be interesting. Obviously, they've got some sort of mechanical, like a micro switch in there which handles the movement. Like the tapping,
accelerometer,
accelerometer, or it could be one of those what's the other thing that they use? Accelerometer would be for one movement. The other thing because they were doing
accelerometer. There's
does the accelerometer do?
Some have gyros and GPS tracking, but not this thing for that price.
Wouldn't be a Mercury switch, surely. They wouldn't be allowed to do those anymore.
No, but it might be a multi-axis switch, which is a cage with a ball in the middle.
Right.
And when you roll it around, it
could be. Yeah.
Gives you absolute orientation.
Gyro, yeah, says the chatties. What are the chatties saying? We haven't said g'day to the chatties. G'day, chatties! What are you guys up to? You're talking about these... They do make guitar pedals, yes, they do. They also make a couple of synths. So they're not complete noobs. I think you're pretty safe with this Kickstarter. Don't quote me, though. I don't want anyone in blue uniform knocking on my front door. I think you're pretty safe with this. There's a few people that I know of have got the Donna
baseline thing.
No, the next one that they brought out, the synthy one. I forget what it's called.
Oh, the 3. It's not the 3-3. It's
the baseline one.
Do they have the drum machine one?
Drum machine.
Yeah, they have a drum machine one too.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, some people say it's pretty good. Henrik, what about you? Are you going to buy one? Yes, you are. Look at you. You've hit buy now, haven't you?
No, but I was thinking of one of the first from them. I think it was the baseline. I'm not sure.
Yep.
But I have to say something. I do have the strips module that we talked about. Here. That's what it does.
God. He's doing the gags today, people. He's doing the gags. I need to throw this into the screen for that one.
But nothing to say about the Donna. I don't think it's a bad company, not at all. I think they make some interesting things for beginners and for people who don't want to waste money on something expensive, but just want to try something.
Right.
Can spend those few money for that. I like the company.
I don't know. There seems to be, maybe there's a bit of a movement in the world. There seems to be a detachment now from musical gear having to be priced a certain, hefty sort of price. Oh, because it's musical. Because it's a musical instrument, we have to price it as a hefty thing. It's a bit like the video.
Well, everything,
cameras, and
everything
videos.
except Eurorack.
Yeah, everything except cameras and videos suffer from the same issue. And there seems to be, hopefully, a light at the end of the tunnel, because some of the gear you buy, that they're making pure profit out of this stuff. It's literally costing them a few cents to make, and they're selling it for hundreds of dollars. And you think, come on, you are flogging us like a dead horse, that's for sure. Right, what do we got? I think that's it. Yes, that is it. Finished with the news, people. He says, with trepidation. What was your favourite product this week?
The Erica synths
DSP
delay
modules.
module.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, even though I didn't hear them, I'd say that would be their stuff is good. So
Yeah.
I'd want to hear how noisy they are. I have a real big problem with noise with Eurorack because, how you can have as much DSP as you like. If the audio treatment on the in and the out isn't done right, you'll still get noise. And if you introduce it through send buses and things like that, that's where you can introduce different types of noises. So I would like to see it in the wild with someone doing it properly through, like the WMD mixer or the even one of feedback modules mixers, see what it's like.
yeah, it's funny. Speaking of noise, when I had my original config with 2 Depfer 84 cases, and some Depfer like standard little mixers, I was getting a lot of hum and noise on my system.
Yeah.
So I started using those hum killer boxes to take some of that out. And then when I switched to the IntelliJ case and the hex mix and all that stuff, I don't have that problem anymore. So
yeah, that's the filtering on the bus boards that's doing that. Yeah.
It really does matter which case you buy and all that stuff. So
Hell yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe most people are doing the right thing with bus boards now. You do have to check. Like I've got the Arturia rack boots here. They're really, really good Eurorack cases, and they've got proper filtering on them. You've got your LED lights for each of your voltage rails, so it's done well. And you think from Arturia, oh, hang on a minute, no, they did a good job. The Behringer Go case, also pretty good. Can't complain with that. So there are some cheap options out there if you are looking at getting Eurorack cases. Nifty case, I don't have a problem with them either. So far so good. By the way, did I guys tell you about there is a firmware update for Nifty case, and they've been a little weird about it. So I don't know if they've done it on purpose or not, but my Nifty case suffered from the CV volt per octave issue that you could not get this thing below 0 volts to tune. So if you had a note that was in the negative, it wouldn't tune below it. So it was terrible. You'd always have these super high pitched notes, and you'd have to always compensate it with switching your oscillator down or not using it at all. That was. And then finally they brought out this firmware update, and I actually literally had to flash the firmware chip on the machine back to its factory state, and then load a new USB bootloader back on it, and then put their new firmware on it. I literally put this thing into like cradle mode, and as a result, it's fixed the problem I had. But the guy said to me, he said, unless you know what you're doing, I'm not going to let you do it. And I said, well, blah, 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 credentials. And he goes, okay, well, we'll give it a go. So it was fine. But yeah, if anyone is interested and they have a Nifty case and it's got that CV pitch, and what I'm talking about, by the way, is when you're using these little babies, these puppies up here. So you're using it via USB or whatever, and you're actually using your CV gate controls via USB, whether it's DIN or MIDI.
So it's MIDI to CV.
Yeah. So
your bottom note is normally 0 volts, and you want it below your bass to be below 0 volts.
No.
Is that the idea?
The CV pitch was not getting it to 0 volts. It was.
Oh, it was like
high.
Struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way
So it was
too
like
high.
Sharp.
Like it was 4 volts or something. It was way too high. Yeah.
Right.
It was definitely a firmware fault. And some of the cases had it and some of them didn't. So if you're interested, you want to know, hit me up and I'll put you in contact with the guy at Create Audio. Create Audio, I should say. Right. What we should do now is this. Yes, it's like a birthday for you people. I know. But calm down, because it's probably the worst name that synth you've ever heard in your life. Let's not worry about that too much. But if you have been living under a rock, we don't do a lot of these because you guys out there don't send enough videos in, please do send your videos in. And then I can share them like this in this wonderful segment called Name That Synth. What is it about? It is you sit back and relax, put your headphones on, and you try and guess what type of synth you're hearing. You only get one guess. You can have as many guesses as you like, but the first guess is your actual official guess. Chuck it into the chat, and before the video says pause and we've counted out the timeout, and I've said time is up, that's when you have to have your guess in by. Now, if you guess it right, you can win a prize. And the prize that you can win, we go through in a minute with Plugin Guru as the sponsor of the segment, and there's some awesome prizes that they are offering over there. But I'm going to mute me and everyone else here, and all you're going to hear is the video. Sit back and relax. Watch it, and here we go.
Three, two, one, go.
Seconds to put your guesses in, people. Time is up. Yes, it is. It's up. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. So I actually do have to apologize. I did that video, and it was probably some of the most cringiest synth playing you've ever heard in your life. I did it on purpose, but I did want to kind of try and fool you guys. Now, we've had our guesses. The guesses are in. They're locked in, Freddie. No more guesses, right? Let's have a look what we've got here. Oh, someone said JDXI. Tracker Jack says it's got MIDI. Yeah, what gave that away? System 55. Hey, Mr. Maikshifter. Interesting guess.
Embarrassing.
Babs hasn't even had a crack. Come on, Babs, you can do better than that. God, there's a few. Some people are close. I'm going to say right now, some people are very, very close. Shall I put you guys out of your misery? Hey, shall I? Let's do it. Yes.
Well done.
Oh gosh, everyone hates me because I do these segments so hard. But come on, people, the sounds that surely that sounded like Curtis. They had Curtis all over it. Surely. Well, use your ears, please.
You know what? You know what fooled me was that the light that was shining off the little knobs, the serrations in the knobs. I thought they were silver, and I thought, you don't have Dave Smith instruments. What does he have? And that through. Once I was on that track, I was off.
All done with the iPhone, my friends.
Yeah.
Every single photo done with the iPhone. The closest were Pro 1. People who were guessing Pro 1 are pretty damn close. I will give
Pretty
that.
close, yeah.
Pretty damn close. But no cigar, unfortunately. It is not, because there, in that video, if you listen to it again, was polyphonic envelopes happening. You would have picked it up.
Good point.
Yeah. Kent was 200 out.
Very good.
That close up on the MIDI port showed how janky that plastic is.
Oh, it's
pretty
shocking, isn't it?
rough
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with the iPhone, how close the photos can get with that, just with an iPhone. I didn't have to use me special camera.
Cool.
Yep.
The one that's sitting over there. There.
Yeah, I used to just use my phone as well, but I usually put it through.
We have 3 lenses these days, so you know.
Yeah.
Luxury.
I really, I have to apologize to everyone. It was probably the worst bit of music you've ever listened to in your life. Please don't judge me. But yeah, I was kind of thinking, you guys need to have a name that synth. I'll literally just pop one out this afternoon as quickly as I can. That's about as good as I can do in about an hour, by the way, people. So I dare you to try and do better.
So that wasn't the intro, one of your tracks on there?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Didn't quite have the polished sound that I would have expected from Ranzee Productions.
Definitely not. It was literally tearing me apart that I couldn't put effects on those sounds because they were desperately needing effects. One of the things you work out really, really quickly is how like an analog synth does not sound good on its own. I mean, sometimes it does, but really just the reverb and delay you
gotta have it.
It's like husband and
wife.
wife.
I can't do in the CS80 demos. You gotta have effects on that thing.
Yeah. No, I meant that, Mr. Half God, Half Beast. I literally meant I popped that one out. You were right on the money with my sentiment. It did sound wrong. It was meant to. It was a, well...
There were many brown notes.
It was an anal baby, let me tell you that much. Right. Okay, so now we've got that over with and everyone's in shock and they're picking themselves up off the floor. Which is it? It's a... hang on a sec. Not that one.
I said, forget throwing the synth at the screen. I threw mine out the window, so...
Oh, okay, it's this one. That's the sound everyone was trying to press. Not the other one.
No, that had effects on it.
Not this one. Oops.
Telling me streaming.
Oh, I've muted it. Have I muted it? Oh, I muted it. Boy, jingo. There we go. Definitely not that one. That was weird.
That wasn't mine.
I'm getting ghosts in the mix. Oh, someone's playing notes. I know who it is now. Someone's being tricky.
Someone's grinning.
Somebody's smiling.
There.
Yes. Yeah.
Someone's yes.
The wizard in a long beard.
Now, where are we up to? I think we can go here. I don't even know if these are still working. I actually set these up. Last week we didn't do a price watch, so we'll do one now. That's not it. We'll do this one. All right. Just remind me, did I definitely haven't done these, have I? Just, you guys...
No.
I haven't done these, have I?
Nope.
Yay, cool. All right. So, I know I've caught up to myself. Okay, Star Instruments Sinair drum machine. I don't remember these things. I don't remember.
Yeah, I've seen them around.
You've seen them around?
Yeah.
A Sinair 3.
Is it? I think I've seen an early prototype of one.
I think Moog had
What's
one
that?
as well. There was another.
These are analog, aren't they? These are an analog oscillator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was found in Mexico at some time.
Quickly Google it. Quick.
Mexico.
By the way, these
And UFO.
that I'm showing this week are not scammy at all. These are just interesting. Okay. Star Instruments Incorporated is the company that makes them, Henrik, if you want to check them out. So if they're from Mexico,
No, it was a joke. It was about the Area 51 and all that thing.
oh, it does look a bit like a
That's
saucer.
New Mexico.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, New Mexico.
Now I remember.
Nuevo Mexico.
Nuevo Mexico. Now what I got to do? I got to go back to here because I've got to change screens. Okay, so what were you guys happy with that price? I mean, would you spend 2,000 US?
I wasn't happy with the shipping price.
The shipping is always. I think the shipping is just something that we're going to have to come to terms with, or maybe not. I don't know. This thing is sold, so I can no longer show it. Yes, that's correct. Piss off with your bloody cookie warnings. Right. I haven't seen. This is a Eurorack module. I have not seen this. This is called the PM02. It's actually a Polyvox M.
Yeah.
By Elta Music, and this was only 700 and I shouldn't say it's only 7. I mean, some people that's a lot of Malula bars, but Elta
For a whole
Music,
that looks like a whole
For a voice,
almost
Polyvox
like a synth,
voice. Yeah, that's good.
yeah,
It is pretty good.
pretty good. Elta Music's still around. I've just googled them, and they still do the. Do they? Do they still do it? No, they
They
don't.
do that big drone thing, right? With all the oscillators. What they do?
Yeah, the PF3 or
The
something.
50, Solar 50 or something like that.
Yeah, these looks like these guys are doing a whole bunch of Polyvox stuff. Anyway, but I thought that one was interesting. There was some information here about it. 46 HP is pretty big. Yeah, synth in the box. Cool. And I guess it would sound. I mean, do you guys like the Polyvox sound?
I got the Polyvox filter from Erica. I like it. So
You like it?
that's really all you need is the filter. So
The filter is a bit crazy, isn't it?
yeah, it can get nasty real fast.
Yeah, it's like an SH5. It's kind of like an SH5. It's kind of like a cross between an SH5 and a Steiner Parker. That's kind of where I'd go with it. Yeah. This one also, I believe we've shown before, but these are still coming up. The Organ Systems Energizer. Not a clone. Not a clone. You shut up.
Hey boys, the plane.
There we go.
Proper mic jack.
It's very industrial looking.
It is. Lots of filter modes.
Green on silver. Bold
I'm
choice.
guessing this has to be digital, right? With all those filter modes. Is there a switch snapped off there? I think there is.
Ooh. That toggle's not toggle no more.
Or it might be a knob that's snatched off. Okay.
Oh,
Something
that might
snapped
be
off.
a
Speaking of snapping off, I definitely snapped off
it's
that.
pulse
named that
saw
synth this
mod
week.
level. That might be a trim pod actually, Rance.
It's a trimming pot.
possibly.
15 types of analog filters. I was wrong. Slap me. Quick. Okay, stop cheering. I got slapped. 2 built-in overdrives. Yeah. Okay, this looks pretty cool. I don't know about 6,500 Aussie bucks. For those playing along at home, if you're living in a different part of the world, it's probably only about $50 US. The current exchange rate. It's a
I nearly
fantastic
spat at the
country.
screen, yes.
Spit take. Yeah.
All right, next one. We have... Yay! After Kent's heart here.
His nightmares about these.
Yeah, that's triggering. Definitely triggering there.
The question I've got is, how much better is the Moog 1 to this? Like, in terms of stable voices, and I mean, they had problems with the voice tuning on the Moog 1.
Well, considering it's not really finished, right? It's not.
Yeah.
Is the Moog 1 still in progress? Features yet to be added, stuff like that?
Promised features yet to be added, yeah.
Yeah. Moog 1 might go the way of the Andromeda.
I need to fix
Just left unfinished.
Someone's popping in.
Ooh,
Someone's popping
that'll
in.
be. Ooh, is that a man starting with a K?
It would be a man starting
Probably
with a K.
can't
He's
use the
popped
second-
in.
Oh.
He made a pop
Was
sound.
he yell
He
at
went
the memory Moog?
No, I
as soon
didn't
as
see
I
that
put the
bit.
memory Moog on.
No, I didn't even know. Go on. How much is that one?
It is, just for you, £10,000. Just for you.
Okay. You got any
That's
close-ups
cheap,
of
right?
the...
Isn't that cheap? 10,000?
got any
That's actually
close-ups
not too
of the
bad.
Cereal?
That's not too bad. Yeah, what is the serial on it? 3294. Did they seriously make over 3,000 of these?
Yeah.
That would be impressive.
I'm sure that one was here a few months ago, being restored.
It is in the US. In Burlington.
I've come on because I'm not happy.
Why?
I have spent 2
Share it
days
with us, mate. Share it with us.
getting this camera,
Uh-oh.
this, to talk to a keyboard, whether it be MIDI or whatever.
Yeah.
Or
I saw
CD.
you having trouble with that. Yeah.
Right. Oh, well, in the end, I went, hang on a minute, something's not right here. So I took the module out. And the module has no cable.
Rob Beringer.
So much for Q.
No cable. No cable.
Good Q
mate.
with that one.
Seriously, go back and watch that stream and watch how much he was flapping about with this.
Oh no! They just had one job.
One
just
job.
one job to plug in
So now
each
I
of those
feel-
Eurorack connectors.
Yeah, now I know that they probably were, up into the early hours of the morning getting the next batch or the first batch together to get them out. And yeah, I think they may have rushed a couple.
Yeah, they might have.
Quite both.
But
So now I feel compelled
didn't
to
Robbie
check
say-
every single module.
At the time you were unboxing it, didn't he say, "Oh wow, are all the modules in already?" And you were like, "Yeah." And then he was like, "Oh, but wouldn't it have been nice to be able to put all the modules in?"
Do you know what?
And
It's
that would have
making me
been.
think now. Yeah, because in the quick start instructions, it tells you how to install the modules.
Yeah,
I go, why have they gone to all this trouble when they're already in there?
someone's put them in.
Well, everything else seems to be powered, although I've got a funny feeling about the oscillator controller module here. That doesn't seem to do a great deal. I'm going, no, on a Moog this should be working. Patch,
Could it
patch,
be a
patch,
used
patch.
model?
No, not the way it was. I don't think so. Not the way it was packaged.
It was packaged beautifully.
It was.
From
it was
what
a
I could
box
see.
in a box in a box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was all
Check
sealed.
the fine print at the bottom of the module. Does it say Fisher Price on it?
I'll tell you what. It does have a reset button. Why don't they put reset buttons on the outside?
On the front, yeah.
That'd be handy.
They don't want
Valuable
idiots
panel
like me to
space.
press them.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna
During a
mod
gig.
the fixed filter bank to do CV for each frequency range. So I might put a reset button on the front of this instead of on the back. Quite possibly. But
I don't know how often you.
here's how bad I am. I forgot I bought this.
Oh, that's the
Bode?
Bode,
Bode.
yeah.
Yeah, got the Bode.
I thought the 55 came with a Bode, but I was wrong because I did check it out. The original 55
No, the
never came
original
with a Bode.
55
Yeah.
didn't. No.
Yeah.
But I've created a problem that you Eurorack guys suffer from, and I can understand now. Is that when I fit this, there will be a hole.
A meth hole.
I can't have a hole
Gotta fill it.
Yeah. So I
Well,
by the way, if you
RS,
want a better
don't you?
MIDI to CV,
You
if you want a better
like
MIDI
RS?
CV, get Mutant Brains. Mutant Brains is really good.
You can get these from RS. You got an account
Same place
with
you
RS.
got. Same place you got your cables.
Same place
from.
you got your cables from. I can even give you the code. There's a whole bunch of different sizes.
Yeah.
And they're nice and thick too. They're nice and thick, not like this flapping around in the breeze crap.
No, we need him to fill it. Keep it open.
Really annoying me. It's all right if you want to rest your elbow on it and that, but
it's really flexy, isn't it? Yeah. Well, it's this. You could literally do chin-ups off this.
Well, these are actually alley. These are good and strong, but it's just because they're blank and don't have anything in. I'm going, what can I buy? What can I buy?
Oh, yeah. You can buy lots. Yeah.
Well, at least this came with a cable anyway, so there's something. So, rather than sit there and look at it. And
I'll just go to this shot. Something in there. Something in there might be worthwhile.
Am I looking at my future?
Yeah, something in there.
Yeah. I see a great future for you.
I don't use blind plates. I always put mods in.
Yeah, it's a good move.
Yeah. You always need them.
Yeah. Good space fillers.
Hey,
Kent, you won't need those tiles eventually. You'll just be modular all behind you. Just the whole wall of modular.
Speaking of System 55s, right? You may or may, because you were pretty busy during the week, and you probably didn't notice this, but I have been mucking around with the 960.
No, I watched the video.
Baby.
I watched the video.
Good fun.
Yeah.
Good
It's
fun.
actually a very good sort of like learning curve as well, because I'm going, 960, no, let me think, 960. And I'm going, I'm sort of like doing kind of the similar kinds of things and then going, why won't the keyboard change its, why won't the keyboard change key? Why, what's going on?
Yeah. And the other thing a lot of people
brilliant.
don't
I loved
realise is the oscillator in here is actually the clock, basically, right? A lot of people don't actually realise it. But if you're not actually using its inbuilt clock, you don't need this at all. You use the shifter down here.
Yeah.
And it literally just takes a trigger shift, which makes complete sense. So what I love about the 960 is when you do have the 962, which you've got in your System 55, you don't have to have all three connected. You can have, and I don't know if you can see it here, but see how there's like a rectangle around the first two, and then there's another rectangle around the third. So that what they're saying is that you can have two. I mean, obviously you don't need one because why would you need it, right? You can have two or three, and it will still work, and it will just literally just blink across the two, and you use your first step as the trigger mover. The shifter. What in this particular case, it's actually genius with Chris's little module that he's making. Because I can use those first two lanes as 16 steps, and I can use the third lane as his CV control for his module. So each step, I can set this as left of 12 o'clock is a single gate, 12 o'clock is a mute, right of 12 o'clock is a ratchet, for example, as a CV controller. And then the other two are my steps. It's really, really cool. Yeah. So 960, his module was originally built for the 182 sequencer, and it's working beautifully with the 960. And I haven't had a problem with any of the trigs, by the way, for anyone who's asking. Because people will go, oh, isn't this S-trig? Isn't this, They will ask, and it doesn't have a problem with it. So...
No.
Yeah. But yeah, keyboard control. Have you got a key step? Oh no, you've got the Hydrasynth though, haven't you?
Yeah, but I've also got a key step anyway because it's small and handy.
So just pop out straight out the back of the key step with your CVs, and you don't even need that module that you got in your hand. You can just use the CV out of your back of your key step.
Yeah, but that's what was annoying the hell out of me because I thought. I'm sure I set everything on the Hydra correct. Why is this not working? Well, you see it in the video. Like,
I saw you nothing about with it.
Yeah. I go, this isn't right. So yeah, so I'm actually glad that there was a reason rather than just me being an idiot. So, which is just makes a nice change, really. So yeah, oh God, I've got the Eurorack bug, haven't I?
You do. Congrats.
Welcome.
I don't
Welcome.
think.
That's not
I
what
don't think
Fiona's
it's as
saying.
bad as
Let's all have a group hug.
I'm a Eurorack guy now. Yeah. That was the last time I saw
Eurorack's
money.
Anonymous. Welcome, Kent. Hi, Kent. I'm a Euroholic.
Yes.
At least, Kent, you're not going to get frustrated anymore about having a synth. Can this synth do this? Question.
Yeah.
Because that's what Eurorack gives you. It gives you that endless possibility, right? As long as you've got some sort of patching.
I mean, when I used to, since Brexit, I don't get a lot of big modulars coming in anymore.
Yeah.
And because of shipping, and of course customs want the value of what you're shipping in paid to them before they release it.
Yeah.
And then they will give you the money back within the 6 months that you send it back in. It's like,
it's a stupid system. It really is.
It's just ridiculous. So even with our URI number, it doesn't make any difference half the time. So it depends on what country it's coming in from.
They're just making money off of your money for 6 months.
Yeah. So, after, restoring a 55 and then, going through it and playing with it and stuff like that, it was just fun. It was just fun, just seeing what it did, what happens if you plug that in there and stuff like that. So when this came out, or they said it was coming out, I've gone, yeah, I know it's Behringer. Yeah, and it's Eurorack, but hey, Eurorack's just sort of like young 5U, isn't it? It's just little 5Us, that's all. Yeah, and I talked myself into it. So
they had English fellas working on the engineering of that. So it is Behringer, and it is made in China, but basically all the design and engineering for for the 960, the System 100M, the 2500, the ARP 2600. I mean, that was Rob from AM Synths. And the 960 stuff was some other guys. Sorry, the System whatever. The Moog modular was from another bunch of guys. But
well, I mean, there's 54 series chips in a actual Moog 960 that you cannot get anymore. So if your 960 dies, good night. So it's nice to see that there is an alternative, because literally you could run those pots out to the front panel of a full size one, and Bob's your auntie.
Yep.
Yeah.
And technically you don't need that chip. I mean, it's not like it's going to make your song sound better. As long as the sequencer does what it's supposed to do.
It's just a timing chip.
Exactly.
Just a switcher, whether it's SMT or whether it's...
Yeah.
Well, I did find one and they wanted I think it was like 80 quid for one chip. And I didn't, mate. You can hang on to that. So, so it's good that there's, alternatives, which is what this does, penultimately produce, is alternatives to repairing some of the original gear.
Yeah, I've got the 904A here, so I've got little bits of this, and I'll have to say it's pretty accurate. Yeah. So, I mean, every single Moog that was made in the late 60s, early 70s will sound different anyway because of the age of the electronics. But it's pretty accurate to a filter of that genre. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't think you can go wrong.
It's the same with the 3C, which came out before the 55. Was just an animal. It was just so powerful, so loud. It was just unbelievable, but also incredibly unstable. I mean, it was like really sort of, you could see it just moving across the room by itself. It's like that. It's drifting so much, it's ridiculous. It's like on an ocean liner. And then the 55, which is the more stable version. Yeah. And yet, I know some of the older guys going, "Oh no, it's a bit weedy, isn't it, compared with the 3C?" Mate, this thing just took my window out
Yeah.
Nah, free C, mate. Ugh. So then we get into the argument about, well, what about the PPG modular? That is a big, horrible beast. Sort of like, you need a whip to program that thing. You've got to whip it with patch cables because it's just so unruly. It's unreal. So
there's not that many of them either.
Thank God. Mind you, the way they were built, string and chewing gum springs to mind.
Wow.
They weren't brilliantly built, I must admit. Look the part.
No.
But yeah, so that's it. I'm now a Euro guy.
Yeah, now you can tangerine dream your heart out.
Yeah, I'm already starting to grow my ponytail. I'll be sorted, mate.
Bit of just ELP, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Off you go. Yeah.
You start with a ponytail, then it turns to a man bun. You're all set.
What was your favourite Moog modular artist of the era? Would it be ELP, Klaus Schultz? I mean, who would it have been?
Oh God! Now you're asking. Well, I always thought Tomita was incredibly clever. Although, truth be known, 80% of the stuff he did was actually on a Mellotron. So
he used Casio stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't care, did he? Just whatever worked. Definitely Tangerine Dream. ELP. You name it. If they had one, I was into it, basically.
Wendy Carlos.
You know,
Wendy Carlos.
Of course, yeah.
Yep. I mean,
Tron soundtrack.
Yeah.
The thing with me is I mean I lived all through that era, and I kind of felt, because I was only a kid in the 70s, I kind of felt like
all right, don't rub it in.
It was kind of like I don't know, it was kind of like for me there was a sound war in my head between ARP and the Moog modular, because I loved them both equally, and you'd hear your mates talk about, oh no, you can't, these are better, similar thing that you were just saying about the different Moog models, right? Yeah. There were people saying, oh no, you can't trust those ARP guys, they were ripping off Moog, you can't, they're rubbish. There was all this sort of stuff going on, and I'd be like, actually they sound amazing, and they've been wired differently. As a kid in the 70s, you don't really know what to say, right? They've been wired differently, so they look different, they sound different, they must be different, and they were.
Yeah. Well, basically, any tension that existed between ARP and Moog was generated outside of the companies. It was just, people wanted
to
join a group. I'm a Moog guy, or I'm an ARP guy, so I'm outside,
exactly.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So just fight it out in the car park. Whereas technically, they were both as good as each other all day long. The Emu stuff was actually incredibly good, but it was less of it, less known. And the PPG stuff, again, the same thing.
And the Buchla stuff.
Buchla stuff
was just
yeah,
but that was a very, very niche, the Buchla stuff.
It was,
so mainly because people approached a Buchla and just went,
sure,
nah,
what?
Nah.
Well, he didn't even have a keyboard initially, right? His whole idea was to noodle. So,
but he actually did that on purpose, right? He said, I do not want it to have a standard tuning. I want it to be free of that.
Well, a customer of mine who used to know him said he would work in a room in his house, and he'd design things and blah, 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 blah. And then the room would get too full, and he couldn't really move in it. And he would close the door, lock it, and never go in it again, and go into another room and start again. But never went back.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went, yeah, that sounds like the sort of guy that would design a Buchla.
Yeah.
Very, very, not quite anywhere. Well, he's not thinking outside the box. He's not in the same room.
He was a hippie.
As the box. Yeah, he was
designing.
Even I met him at NAMM. I met him at NAMM 2009. He was still a hippie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely guy though.
Yeah, he's super nice guy.
Yeah.
He had but he was different. He'd come at things from a completely different way.
I mean, he was hanging out with Ken Kesey,
guys, isn't it?
So So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's go back to this. There is something insanely musical about the way this is like laid out. This is an old design, but if you guys ever get your hand, none of you who have got one of these, get your hands on one. They're not that expensive. No. What are they? About £150 or something. They're not expensive on there. Just a module on its own.
At all. Yeah.
The way, like for Eurorack, you can get your fingers on these. It's not really. It's a massive module, but it's just so musical for a sequencer. It's probably, dare I say, it's probably for its age. It's probably the most musical sequencer out for its age. Probably not anymore, because there's a whole bunch of new modern things that kill it. But for its age, it's insane.
Yeah.
And you can fit that 960 and the extra control module in a Pod 64, so you have a portable little sequencer to move around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking of doing exactly
for anybody
that.
who wants the original thing, they're between £9,000 and £15,000. So Why? I really couldn't tell you. That's where the romance comes in, I suppose, because that Behringer one does exactly the same thing. In exactly the same way. Yeah. But there you go.
Well, I was really, 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 I don't know, pleased for you because you found something that I think you were scared at first with the whole Behringer thing. I think you're never really going to be 100% sure until you actually physically have it here in your studio, right? It never really formally ticks the box.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple of Behringer things that I've come across in the past that have bit me in the ass.
Yeah.
Least of all, that 32X mixer, which lasted, I think, 2 months, 3 months, and then the whole left channel went. It just locks up. It's like just lights on, going like this, and I couldn't even be asked to send it back. To be honest, I got some rack stuff, which is falling apart in one form or another. So, but this seems to be quite well built, I must admit. Maybe not quite assembled, but certainly
that's
well
hilarious.
They didn't check it thoroughly, so that
except that most are not assembled. Yeah.
Does it have the cable flapping around the breeze inside the case?
It doesn't. From what I can see, it doesn't look it. I hope it is.
And do you have a cable?
It's got one from the boat.
I can make one. I can make one in the
workshop.
workshop.
They're piss easy to make,
Yeah, piss easy.
Yeah. I got me clamps and me doobie
The
to make
I2Cs,
ribbon cables.
Yeah.
Thank God. Because it turns out I need it. So
yeah.
But I now feel compelled.
Just remember, usually the red stripe is down. So
yeah. I've had the Dofa 100A experience. Thank you.
I burned 2 of their modules.
Case through.
So.
Yeah. And the guy was putting modules in it that require 5 volt, and it didn't have a 5 volt rail in the power supply. It was just plus or minus 12. So he's going, "That don't work. I can't understand it. What's wrong with this module?"
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But he's put on a couple upside down as well on that, because there's, having the little what they call it, the carriage
shrouded header.
Yeah, the header.
Boxed headers.
Yeah, so it goes on the right way around.
Although that doesn't always save you, as Andrew Brooks can attest. He had a flying bus
somebody
sleeve.
puts it in wrong.
You can still put it in the wrong one. You could still take a flying bus sleeve with headers in it, boxed headers, and if the other end goes into a power supply that doesn't have boxed headers, you can still downstream.
Oh, that's true.
But just put a few diodes in your circuit. Put a few extra diodes in your circuit.
Too much.
And then it will bridge rectify your power. Solves the red stripe problem. It really does.
Look, Deffer invented Eurorack, and he didn't do that.
I know. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
It is bizarre. I don't get it. And even now with a lot of synths, right, you can get synths that you literally ship out from one factory, and it doesn't matter what country it goes to, it will detect the voltage straight out of the wall. You don't even need to switch anything at the back of it. That's how things should be now. I mean, electronics has been around for years being able to do that.
Yeah. I mean, they got auto transformers on this, fortunately. So.
Yeah, you should only have to change the plug for the wall. Everything else should be automatic.
Those power supplies, I think, from memory, I think they're 5 amps. They're actually pretty good. So, and you've got two of them. So you've got technically you've got 10 amps to play with.
Yeah, it's quite a lump, to say the least.
On the inside, I don't think you can see it on the outside because I've got one of those Go cases just here as well. There is 3 LEDs inside. You can see them, and it will tell you whether all your 3 rails are going.
Yeah.
I wish they put that. There's like a little header across the top of that case. I wish they put them on top.
Yeah.
So you could actually see it. It wouldn't be a hard mod to do either. You just
Well, that's why I have that one new one that puts the lights on the outside.
Yeah.
That one's really good.
Or even
it's really cheap too.
At worst,
like $60 or something.
Some flying leads and mount some LEDs in the case. And
because every now and
now
then,
you can start a modular grid site.
If you ever talk to a well-oiled Eurorack guy, they will tell you check to make sure all your 3 rails have lit up before you use it.
That's why I got those. I put one in every case so I can see the lights come on. Because you have a couple seconds usually before you fry something. You go, all lights aren't on. Turn it off real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish CS80s had that.
CS80s have interesting things.
You just see a chip somewhere about 3 foot to your left go pop like that and go, oh, there's something wrong with the power supply.
Bye.
Yeah, I've got a sick ESQ1 at the moment, which I guarantee it's the power supply. So I'm going to have to get all the electronics of the power supply out and put a new one in, and then I'm going to recap electrolytic caps on the whole thing.
Is this the plastic case or the metal case?
It's a linear supply.
Metal case. Linear supply.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. It's a really big, massive synth with a tiny little circuit board inside it. It's typical, you know, in sonic
it's
synth.
like a Hydrosynth.
Yeah, it's like the Hydrosynth.
A family of 8 can move into that.
Yeah.
You haven't taken anything out at all. There's bags of room.
Mate, bands used to love the ESQ1, the ESQ, and the SQ80 because they could literally pack half of their gear in it and send it through customs. And I use the word gear loosely. We all know the story.
Yeah. Recreational instruments.
Recreational instruments, that's it. All right, guys. Well, we have hit the part of the show where I am going to launch my new album, which is a cool thing.
This is still available on Sinners, yeah?
Yeah, this is gonna be through Sinners, yeah.
Right, okay.
In fact, I'll show you.
Let's get that soft new.
Beautiful. CDs and things like that will be coming, and streaming platforms will be coming. Ian's going to be looking after the whole streaming side of it, so I won't have to worry about that. It is done through Sinners, so he is the label, I guess. But yeah, interesting. I guess I'm here to answer questions for those who are interested. I know some of you guys have had a listen to it already. It's a big album. There's 16 tracks on it. There is also, if you do get the Bandcamp, you will get 2 bonus tracks. One is I'm doing this thing where I release a part segment increase of this track called Utopia each album I bring out. So now we're up to Utopia Part 3. So you'll get that, and also you'll get the mega mix of all the gates. So it's about a 59-minute track of all the gates mixed together. It's Jean-Michel Jarre style, blending all the tracks together.
Sold.
Yeah. So this album's interesting for me because I've never really done like a big theme before, where I had to sort of stay disciplined throughout the whole album, and every track had to be about something that the whole album's about. So each track is about a type of gate. Some of them are probably more relevant than others in musically in terms. But the way I kind of developed it was that I guess it's kind of like a journey. When you go through a gate, it's kind of like you're traversing through from one side to another. And then that sort of, that transition that's happening is kind of an interesting thing. If you ever sort of think back to when you went through airport gates, or if you went through border gates, or security gates, anything like that, it would have been an experience of some sort, where you're going from one side to another. So I've played with that throughout the whole album, and obviously it's a play on, synthesizers having gates in them. So there's the link back to our world. Most of you guys would have got that straight away. The album cover should have given it away, if anything. 16 tracks. A lot of them are kind of interesting. I don't know. It was weird doing this. I deliberately put tracks deep into the album. Normally what I would do if I were making an album is I'd try and put what I feel are the stronger tracks up the front, and I'd kind of like taper the album off that way. This time I didn't do that. I've just randomized them throughout. So when you're listening to it, you may even hate some of them. I don't know. It's your problem, not mine. But when you do go through them, you will, you will discover, I guess. It's the whole point of this. It's a bit progressive in that sense. Like, I do have progressive rock and progressive electronica in me, so that's how I was brought up. So it has that sort of feel. Does anyone want to talk about it? I can play a track or play a part of a track or anything like that.
Cool.
I just want to say we should hear a bit, but I just want to say congratulations. This is quite an opus. It's the most high concept I've seen you do something, and it's actually one of those ones where I didn't come into it from the concept. I came into it from the music first, and then discovered the context when you put out some of your when you download your stuff from Bandcamp. You actually get some additional liner notes, and it's quite a complicated. Sorry, it was quite a elaborate description of the different tracks and what they mean, and quite fancy artwork. And I was just really impressed with that, which I think made it more enjoyable. But yeah, I came into it first through the music, and I like the way there's Foley kind of sounds and sound effects introducing you to most tracks, more so in the first half than the second half. But it's and there's no if there's a track you don't particularly get along with, it's not like they don't go for a heap of time. I think it benefits from that, because you really get a sense of movement and travel through the album, which I think might have been what you're trying to go for. Answer. I
didn't want to dwell,
but yeah, that's what I liked about it. And the first what I call the first true good test of whether an album works as an album is when it ends and you're going, is that it? I think I have to listen to that again. So you passed the first test. Yeah. So it was one of those things where I think there's enough variety in it, and there's enough stuff for everyone that's going to be your go-to tracks. They're going to be the tracks that you like the most. And I hope that people enjoy particular parts of the album, and other people enjoy other particular parts of the album. And I hope that spreads your audience, Rants, because it's pretty cool stuff. And the other thing I wanted to say is that when I listen to a Ranzee album, it's unmistakably Ranzee. I've never heard you sound like someone else, not sound exactly like someone else, and I've never heard anyone else sound exactly like you. So I don't know. That's just my kind of compliment to you, I guess.
Thanks, man.
For that.
Appreciate that. Coming from someone who, like myself, I can't play music if I was paid to. I am a complete noob when it comes to
although
this stuff.
Spoiler, there is a guitar solo.
Ooh, there is.
Ooh,
yes.
I haven't revealed too much.
Yes. Anyway, there's a couple of guitars in
Don't
there.
let that. Yes. It's
quite
a tasteful one too.
I did muck around with this for a while. Like I was doing artwork for it, so there's the track listings if you're interested in some artwork that I did. And I kind of went down the sort of symbol route where each track has a symbol that relates to what it's about, so I didn't have to write the word. So, for example, if you're looking at Gate 6, it's about a city, and that's what the track's about. Gate 6. Some of them are quite kind of way out there. So there's a couple of concepts in here which some people may not get, but I don't know. Like,
They'll still enjoy the music, though, won't they?
Well, I think so. I think it's more like
Yeah.
you will connect with it however you want to connect with it.
Yeah, and
that's kind of where
exactly. You don't have to. You don't have to. I mean, that's what I was trying to say about listening to it first. I try to listen to it first and not get too drawn into the sort of the cerebral part of it, because I just like to enjoy the music first.
Yeah.
But then, as I said, what you've done here is that you've created that little graphic, the image that you showed before. I think it really draws you into wanting to know a little bit more about the idea behind, because that's one thing you get as soon as you've listened to the album. It's really clear that there was a concept behind it, and it's intriguing. So
yeah,
hopefully that draws people.
So
in.
not every track has a little intro that kind of leads you into what that particular track's about. Some of them do. Some of them are quite comical, and I did that on purpose. Some of them are me playing around with samples to make it sound like that you were actually at a place, but the actual original samples were all completely from all different things. And if you felt like you were there because of this arrangement of samples that I've made, then I've done my job.
I totally in headphones especially.
Yeah. So I've played with a few concepts with this. Anyway, so it's a few questions in chat.
How long did you work on it?
The first track I've had for a while, Gate 1, and then
That's
the
a good
rest.
track, by the way. It's a great
the
track.
rest has kind of fallen in this year. So Gate 1 would probably be a bit over a year old. I've been sort of playing with that for a while, but it just kind of sat there on my computer. It's one of those tracks that didn't make it in the previous album, and it was definitely going to be in the new album, but I didn't know. In fact, Gate 1 was actually going to be just called Gate 1, but it ended up being called Gate 1 Airport because of the concept of the album. There was a few questions in the chat which I should get to. Question number 1 was from ASIOhead. Sorry, not from ASIOhead. QRDNK said, where will the CDs be offered? And from when? So they'll be offered through Bandcamp as usual, but they're not ready yet. We're still getting them pressed. So I don't know how long that'll take. Usually it's about a month or so to get those out. And I think that was it from the question side. So that's cool. All right, so we'll head over here. What do you want me to play? What's a good sort of representation? Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I know what you guys mostly are like. Most of you guys are into synthesizers, so maybe I'll go with a kind of synthy sort of track. Should we go with Logic? I think you guys will like the ARP 2600 in this.
Yes.
Oh, what did it do that for? Sorry, I've just ruined it. We'll do that again. There you go. There's one of the tracks. That's called Logic. And if you go into the Bandcamp page, you'll see every single track has got a little blurb on it. I've written. So I accidentally clicked on it while I was playing it, and then I had to start it again. But you can see down the bottom there's a blurb. And for those who like to know what gear is in a track, there's a gear list there. There's a gear list there. So you can go check all that out. It's all part of it. It's all on Bandcamp now. Yeah, so there we go. I don't know what else to say. I'm kind of a little bit embarrassed.
Good
actually.
stuff. That was cool.
It's
good.
Each
Thanks,
time I've heard the album 2 or 3 times so far, and each time I hit this song, I think of Queen, but also Shah and Karl Bartos.
Wow. Okay.
That's what I think of when I hear this. And I also think, what is your inspiration? Is it them on this one?
To be honest, this track really started with the ARP Odyssey. So if you want to know where this how this came into birth, I really love the sound of that crunchy oscillator on the ARP Odyssey. I've got the Korg version of the ARP Odyssey, so I do apologise for anyone who's a real ARP aficionado. I can't afford.
I have the Carp one too.
Yeah. But they did a pretty good job, I think, Korg, of it. So it's got just a really crunchy sounding oscillator, and I just felt like that needed to be in the track. That real sort of crunchy, sawtooth cutting through the mix, and that is really like that's the main star of that song, is that sort of synth stab that you hear throughout it. And I don't know where that comes from. We are all influenced by music for sure. I have listened to Queen. The others, not so much. Henrik, I'm not sure about the others.
Karl Bartos is the melodic man in Kraftwerk.
Yeah. I probably haven't explored enough outside of Kraftwerk. So I have, obviously I love Kraftwerk, themselves, but I haven't explored outside them enough. I really should, because, but yeah. But I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know. So then you get a challenge, right? So then you've got the sound that you want to get out, and then on top of that, I then want to kind of portray the theme of this track, which is logic. So for me, this is one of the gates in the world that kind of don't exist. It's an electronic gate, right? It's part of our electrons. So I wanted people to feel like they all of a sudden turned into electrons and they were buzzing around circuits. That's kind of the feel that I wanted to give you. I mean, I did a naffy sort of intro at the start, it was, but sometimes you've got to give people the real obvious stuff because they won't get it otherwise in music. So you do have to do that. And then for the rest of you guys, I know you guys will probably think that intro is a bit naffy, R2D2 sort of style, but the rest of the track should sound very computer gamey, sort of electro sounding. That's how it should sound.
It's a bit like you're in the Tron universe.
Yeah.
The other thing that it reminded me of was Todd Terje track,
right?
DeLorean Delight. It's got that driving 2600 bass line.
Yeah.
That reminded me a bit of that, which is also one of my favorite tracks. So
yeah,
that's why I really like this one.
So
it's just really driving.
The bass,
and I like the way
this was a 2500.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's close, but you got it. So these are the Behringer 2500 modules that you're hearing, which is Rob from AM Synths. Really, that's he's re-engineering. I'm actually really impressed with them. To be fair, like there's no way in the world that I'll ever own a 2500. And there isn't one in my city that I can go touch. So my only ever physical contact I've ever had with a 2500 was when I traveled and I got to touch one. And it was a long time ago. So, pre-COVID. So, for me to have just like that remake from Behringer, I think it's, it was great. And one of the things that's kind of cool about it is they are pretty sort of relatively accurate. Like the filter amp is quite an ingenious module. Like it was on the original, right? The filter amp is basically a VCA and a VCF in one. And the way it kind of, because of the way the electronics have been made in that, it doesn't sound like you've got a separate VCA and a separate VCF. Does that make sense? It kind of feels like the way that they've engineered with the amps and the op amps and stuff in there, that it just feels like they belong together, like it's one. Like you've got almost
kind of like a low pass gate.
Kind of, yeah.
Sounding different from low pass gate. I mean, it sounds very different. But
I should pull the module outs over here, but you've got in the actual module, you can drive with the gain both sides of it, right? And it's interesting. It's an interesting module, and your sounds will sound different to how you manipulate that module. So your oscillators will sound different no matter how you play with it. And then obviously your envelope generating is kind of with that baseline sequence, right? So the baseline sequence, I think, in that was using Grey Wolf's Blue Arp hardware.
Oh, cool.
So that was a arpeggiated algorithm that did that baseline.
Yeah.
And then you can, with the Blue Arp, it's a piece of hardware, but you can get it as software. You guys can get it for free. Yeah. You can actually transpose just by hitting a key on your keyboard.
Yeah.
And depending on how you program it, you can get it to restart the sequence algorithm, or you can get it to just transpose and keep going where you hit it, depending on how you like it to sound. So it's quite ingenious. It's quite good. So there's a few people in chat who are saying things like, "Oh, I'm hearing the Strikefet. I'm hearing Kraftwerk." Like you guys are probably, yeah. I don't think that I think if you start playing with synthesizers, you will hear like all the big synthesizer people, no matter what you do. You will hear like this sounds like Jean-Michel Jarre. This sounds like Vangelis. This sound, you will always get those sort of comments, but they use, because I'm using the gear that, not exactly the gear, but I'm using the similar gear to what they were using in the day. But I guess one of the challenges we've got is, do we want to sound like an old Git from the 70s remaking the same shit, right? And I'm conscious about this.
Yeah. But that, I think you've done
an old Git from the 70s. Isn't it, really?
Yeah. I guess all you can do
you play
is
what you like, so.
True.
You do, but you could also influence that by how you put things together. Like the thing that's I liked about that track is not just the three different sort of movements of it, but the way that there are three movements. Like, in a traditional track, you would probably say, "No, I only need two different movements." But this one, I really like the surprise where it changes to a third movement.
Yeah,
I think that really helps make the track sustainable.
Oh, and that really was a massive challenge. That was, I can imagine. That was nearly not in that track, that part. So that's the bit where you heard that kind of sci-fi sort of sounding, synth.
It's a complete change of sort of pace and tone, but it works really well. And you must have worked pretty hard to make. Yeah,
it was difficult to get you. Like I literally you guys got lost when that happened in that particular part. I did as well, and I had to get you back somehow. So the way I felt it when I was writing it is, you've gone through a logic gate, you're lost now. I need to get you back. So your electrons need to travel back to where they're supposed to go. So say you're in a eurorack circuit or something. The output jack is where you need to come out, right? Whatever. However you guys want to feel about it. But that was the challenge, and I needed to have you guys feel like you've gone through a gate. And it's hard musically to do stuff like this. Some of the tracks you listen to, you'll actually go through the gate straight away. The moment that you start listening to it. So I'm going to play another track. And this one is really testing me musically. I don't usually write music like this, but I challenged myself to write music like this, and I'll talk about it in a sec for a couple of reasons. Let's click on this first so I don't make the same mistake as last time. All right, here we go. There we go. So that one was called Leech, and or like, if you want to call it like that. So did anyone know what they are?
No.
So they are the types of gates that you used to see that leads you into the church. So, you know, when I was a kid, I used to go to church, and these days we're not so religious, right? So, but this is kind of like when you're going through the gate, up the path to the entrance of the church, the little archway things that you go through, they're called lich gates, right? And it's kind of a weird thing. Like I remember asking this guy once, who was, I think he was like a parishioner, I don't know if he was the priest there or whatever, but I said, what's the purpose of that gate? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you know, isn't a church an open place for the community to come in and go out? And the answer that he gave me was kind of interesting. It was kind of like, well, we have the gate there to ward off evil spirits. And all these kind of things that came out of this guy's mouth. And I'm like, whoa, okay, this is kind of weird. And it just stuck with me many, 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 many years. And I thought, well, I've got to write a track about it. So how do I write a track about church without it sounding like a church band? And you guys know what I mean by church bands, right? And so I did purposely kind of put a little bit of church band sound in it. I don't know if you picked it up. There was a bass guitar. There was acoustic guitar. So there was a bit of church band sound in it. I did proper drum programming, and this was a pain in the friggin' ass. I hate drum programming. Yeah, I mean, it does have a relevance to the church, but it's not religious in any way. It's more to do with the actual gate that you're walking through. And I'm sure all of us probably went through one when we were younger, when we were going to, I don't know, Sunday school or Sunday church or whatever, back in the days, in the 70s and 80s. These days, not so much, right? Some people still are churchgoers, so good on them, and they'll know exactly what it is. But yeah, it's kind of like the feeling that you have when you're going to that, I guess. That was kind of where I was heading with it. For me, it was never a negative feeling. It was always a happy sort of time. So it had to be a happy sort of vibe. And it was a very difficult track to write because I didn't want it to sound religious, because I'm not a religious guy. I have beliefs, but I'm not a religious guy. But I can't ignore my past. I can't ignore the fact that my parents took me to church. They took me through Sunday school, all that stuff. That is part of a lot of us, we would have had that. Probably not so much these days, right? Can remember your mum and dad dressing you up in your best gear, going to church.
Yeah. That was just the words I was going to use, Rant. I was going to say what I imagined listening to that track was getting into your Sunday best to go to church.
Yeah.
There was no judgment on what you were doing in church. It was just the experience.
Yeah.
I remember having that experience as well. I used to go to Boys Brigade, which is a sort of a version of the Scouts, but for Christian type stuff. It sort of took me back to that sort of vibe, just talking about it then. So, I think I know what you meant. And good job as an ex-drummer. I thought you did a very good job on the drum program. No, seriously.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you what. Now the nerdy question: what piece of software did you use for the drum?
That was just done in Ableton. Yeah, so
just a drum rack in
Ableton.
Plums.
Yep, and just painstakingly pasting in those notes.
It just proves you don't need your BFD or your Tune drummer or the many different addictive drums to. Don't necessarily need all those things. You could just use Ableton. To be meticulous.
Yeah,
I thought they sounded good. I thought they sounded nice and punchy. I thought as I'm not one who normally does a lot of listening to or writing music for sort of an acoustic band type environment, I did used to do it way back, and nothing in there sounded like it didn't go together. So there was even the synth lines felt. To me, they felt properly integrated into the track, and I thought it really exemplified itself as of that other genre of music, but it was consistent within that genre, and it didn't feel like you were a keyboard player trying to do acoustic music. It just seemed right to me.
Right.
So hopefully, mission accomplished. I think.
So. Robbie Puricelli's not here because he's at SynthFest, but he'll be happy to know that there is an FM synth in this track, and that is actually that sequence that you hear throughout. It's actually an FM synth doing that sequence. So I'm purposely doing things. I kind of have a bit of I like to have a bit of a laugh when I make music. To be honest, like number one, so if you want to know what the bits of laughs are. I purposely made that synth solos sound as bold and as loud and as retro as you could possibly can, and I wanted it to really sort of just be like right out the front and going, I'm a synthesizer guy, because that's me, right?
Unashamed, gratuitous.
Yeah.
I'm on the stage. Look at me.
Yeah. So that was done on purpose. I wanted to do. I had a bit of a laugh with the church bells at the start, where I reversed them. I wanted to see if there was any people going, "Oh, that's satanic."
It sounded. It actually sounded to me like it was a combination of a real church bell and an FM synth.
Actually, it was the Rachel module with a 2500 oscillator as well in there. So
nice.
So you get that ring mod
combination of synthetic and a and an acoustic.
Yep.
Tubular bell. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Or church bell. Yeah.
So the synth, that took me ages to get right. Like I'm like, nah. And then I was playing around with the Rachel when I made that video a few months back, and I just I thought to myself, because I made that track a while before, and I thought, well, I need to like tell people about what this Rachel thing can do, because you can literally do so many cool things with that module. So that kind of stemmed as a result of making that track. So yeah,
it's always good when you find resources for other tracks or unfinished works in your experiments with other stuff. That's why we should always try different things, not try to do the same things and bang your head against a brick wall. Sometimes you put things aside, come back to them later.
Exactly.
Yep.
So yeah, it's kind of weird. Like I wanted it to sound like a church band, but I didn't want it to sound like a church band. But yeah. So there you go. There's that. And I guess
actually it kind of reminded me of late '80s Tangerine Dream, like Lily on the Beach.
Yep.
It sounded kind of like that. It's nice.
I actually don't know that track, but okay, cool.
It's an album, Lily on the Beach. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Like 89, something like that. I think is when it came out. So.
Just a little bit of air in there as well. It's probably the strings, the synth strings. Reminded me a little bit of just a touch of air.
Okay.
Tiny little bit.
I mean,
Very
the music. I have a problem with my music. I listen to music, and it is just me purely being lazy and can't be asked to change my playlist on my phone. And when I jump in the car, it literally just plays the same shit over and over and over again. And I probably should get off my ass and change it. But all the bands that you've heard me mention before are always on there. So Art of Noise, Yellow, Kraftwerk, Depeche Mode, Icehouse, who you guys probably don't know if you're overseas, but they're an Australian band. Yeah, there's heaps. Like, so if you're hearing any of those New Orders in there, Joy Division's in there, if you're hearing anything like from that could be where some of my influences are coming from. But I don't know. I kind of try not to. Like, I don't sit down and go, oh, I'd like to make a New Order track.
Sometimes I find that if you do listen to the same stuff quite a lot, you actually stop doing that copying thing. You actually stop hearing your own, because you know it so well now. You know, your brain knows, your subconscious knows to go a different direction.
Yeah,
I just think maybe it's something in your sort of musical instinct.
I'm
to try and be original.
I'm a bit lazy too. Like, I'm lazy with the playlist, and I'm lazy when I make music. So sometimes I don't even care if it's just a patch. I like the sound of that patch. Cool, I'll use that. Bang, done. I know there's musicians out there that will go, I will never use someone else's patch because someone can copy me and blah, 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 and I'm going to stick a sticker on the back of my synth when I play live because they don't know what type of synth I'm... I mean, I'm not that person.
Yeah.
I'm just like...
look at all the D50 patches used, just factory presets.
Yeah.
Depeche Mode did that with sounds. They always had to make a new sound each time, and then on Violator, the producer said, come on, you are painting yourself into a corner. Stop doing that. You're welcome to do whatever you want. Use it again and again, or whatever you want. And
I love Violator.
That's why the album became what it became.
Yeah. What an amazing album that is.
That's Flood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Alan was probably the big guy behind that album too, to be fair. Which it's a shame because he didn't stay on. Because I don't know. There's a lot of people will say Depeche Mode have got kind of a few different versions of themselves. You know, they've got the Vince era, they've got the Alan era, and then they've got the post-Alan era. And I do like Martin and Dave, and I do like what they bring, but yeah, I don't know. Violator just really stands out for me. It's not. I'm not going to say it's my favorite album. It just stands out, I think. You know what's interesting? What's your favorite track on Violator? Is it always the same, or does it change?
Yeah, for me it's always the same. It's clean.
Oh, you like clean?
But I've been through a lot of things like that, so
yeah,
it means a lot to me.
For me, it changes. I kind of float between Halo, Policy of Truth, and Waiting. What's that called?
Waiting for the
Night. Yeah. So I kind of, but depends on my mood.
Yeah, but back to your album. How do you, or do you, master your songs afterwards, or are you
afterwards
just using them as you mix them
afterwards?
Yeah. So you are doing some mastering.
Oh yeah. Oh, the mastering was a pain in the ass. I had more trouble with the mastering of this album. I think maybe it's because there's 16 tracks. I think that might have been the reason. So next time I'm not going to do so many tracks, because it was
also
a pain.
When you do that by random, putting them in a different order by random, then it's more difficult, because when you master something where you have decided the order, then you can master them compared to the previous song and the next. It's more difficult if you have 16 which can come in a random order. Then you have to think everything has to be equal.
Yeah. This album, every track is really quite different. There's very little there's very little similarities with them. They go quite differently throughout the album, but in a kind of weird way they sort of fit together.
Yeah, there's some kind of thread, isn't there? There's some kind of sonic thread that runs through it.
It might just be the choice of instruments, maybe. That could be it. But when you're doing the mastering, Henry, you know what this is like yourself. You know, it's at times it's your workflow, right? And if you're pumping out music quicker than you can master, this could be an issue. You know, for me, I've got the time is not my enemy. For me, this is just a hobby, right? But yeah, if I was kind of in a professional mode here, this would have been a nightmare for someone to master, because when I did, there was one track, I can't remember which one it was so quiet. The original mix was really, really quiet, and every time I lifted the levels of it up when I was trying to finish the mix, this is pre-mastering, right? When I tried to lift all the levels up, it just didn't sound right. So even if I did something stupid like maybe put a limit increase on the master, it still just didn't sound right. So I had to do some compression and EQ tricks, which I learnt from many good people, you know, that I've known over the years. And that was the only way I could get myself around that volume or amplitude issue that I had with that track, where it was where sometimes you have to perceive loudness of something where it's not actually really truly loud. And that seemed to get that one over the line for me. But I still was never really 100% happy with it, to be honest. I can't remember which track it was now.
There is a trick if a song is starting very quiet, and then there comes an instrument later which will be much louder. You can raise the beginning and then slowly fade it till the point where the loud instrument comes. Then it's the same level.
Yeah.
The result is the same level. People will not notice that it's going down and down and down.
Yep.
So
yeah, I did some stuff
trick.
like that. Yeah. That's some good points.
Hey, Ranzee, speaking of mastering, can you talk about the tools you used and what order you used them in?
Well, I actually talked about it a few weeks back when we were on the show. Yeah, so I stem it out of Ableton. Pretty much most of the mixing's done kind of half in Ableton, and then I use Studio One PreSonus to do my final mixing. And the only reason why I'm using Studio One, I probably could do it in Ableton, is that Ableton just friggin' doesn't like my eyesight. Like, seriously. Like, I can't mix in that. It's just, like, even if I was to, zoom in and, do shit like that, it's really not...
it's very busy, yeah.
I just don't find it an interface that is ergonomic for mixing. It really isn't. I think Logic's actually better for that, to be fair. But Ableton is a brilliant interface for making music in. It's really good for making music in. That's where it's.
I'm surprised they don't have a view. They don't have a special view just for that part.
No, they've only got the they've only got the arranger and the session. Yeah. Anyway, I stem it out of that, and then I bring it into Studio One. And Studio One is incredibly helpful it's a bit like Pro Tools. It kind of looks similar to Pro Tools, but different. And I would never use Pro Tools if you paid me, just because of the way that companies handle themselves. I would love to use it. In the past, I probably did, but now I'm comfortable now because I've had PreSonus gear for years, so I'm comfortable using PreSonus. I've mixed it. The final mix is done in PreSonus, and then the mastering's done in there as well. I can use the same plugins that I've got in Ableton if I need to. I find the EQ different in Ableton than it is in Studio One too. You get kind of, I don't know if it's me or my ears. I just feel you kind of get different results with EQing in Studio One.
Well, if they've got different kind of curves on their EQ bells, shapes, and whatnots, you are going to get different sounds out of them.
My stuff tends to be quite bassy. Like Henrik, you've heard it on your speakers now, haven't you? It's quite bassy, isn't it?
No, it's not too much.
Not too much.
I actually find that's actually a good point. Actually, I actually found the album sounds best on speakers.
Yeah, well, that's what it's built for.
Both. Yeah, I've been listening to it both on headphones and in speakers. And when I started listening to it on my monitor speakers here, it really started to come to life.
Yeah.
So
I had no problem with the bass. I had no problem with the bass. I've heard it on speakers at work and at home. And at work I have a subwoofer too, and it will really tell me if there's too much bass, and it didn't.
Yeah.
So I think it was mixed fine, and mastered fine. There was a few things I would have done differently, but it's not wrong doing it like you did. So I think it sounded really good.
I mean, if I had money, I probably wouldn't be doing the mastering, and maybe even the final mix. Maybe I'd probably send it to someone like Charles Chicky Reeves, or someone like that, or someone else that I know here that lives in my city, because I just aren't. I'm just not an expert. I'm just a backyard guy, right? But
you did it good. You did it good. Don't think you did anything wrong. You didn't.
Okay. No, you did a good job, but you had to. I think I know what you mean. You're getting at. It's like you'd be nice if you didn't have to.
Yeah. But I reckon if someone else had it, they could have done a better job. Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the problems I have sometimes is I listen to things and I'm happy with it, and then I listen to it again, I'm not happy with it. It's kind of frustrating, right? Tough. Have you guys come across that? Where you've listened to a track and then you listen to it again a couple of days later, hang on a minute, I don't like that. What's going on? That instrument's too loud, or that instrument's too quiet.
Sometimes you hear an error that you don't hear the next day.
Yep.
So
that's actually a popular meme, is the listen to the next day at the sad face and the...
Yeah. I think Babs asked me in the chat. Babs, correct me if I'm wrong. If she's still there, were some of these tracks made from any jams? No. So
Cool.
this album.
Interesting.
Oh, okay. So technically, Utopia Part 3 would have been, because Utopia Part 1 was made from a jam. So technically, from a long bow stretched, that would be. But that Utopia is the bonus track that you're getting. It's not really part of this album technically as such. So all of these tracks on this album were studio made.
Produced.
Yeah.
Rather
Produced.
than-
But they could easily be something that I could play live, with the gear I've got here. So it's not. It's sometimes you can make music and you're just like, oh god, I'll just bring a laptop to play that. Exactly. But none of these are that sort of crazy. I don't know. Kind of in some respects, I kind of worry that some of the stuff is too simple and too minimalistic, but that is kind of my style, I feel.
Yeah, but it's not a bad thing. Yeah.
It gives room sometimes, and it's not just in a single mix that simple instruments can give room. It gives room in the whole album.
Yeah, I did think of it, but not as you think. I heard it was simple, but my thought was, why is my music also always so messy? And it's because there's too many instruments. So doing it simple is not a bad thing, not at all. I wish I did it sometimes. So.
Well, EQing is your friend, really. I don't know how much I can say that. Like, one of the things when you're listening to something individual, like you've just got a synth plugged in and you're playing around with a patch and you think, that sounds friggin' awesome, I'm going to put that on my track. And then you put it on your track, and then now it doesn't sound as good because it's mucking up, it's getting muddy, it's playing around with your ears too much. It's like you're getting, I think one of the guys in chat talked about ear fatigue. I think it was Half God, Half Beats. Well done, mate. EQing is your friend. And I'm not telling you this, Henry, because I know you know it. And Chris, I know you know it too. But this is whoever's watching. Because, what happens with sounds is they have these frequencies that can be below and above in the spectrum that make up that overall sound that synth is making. But they aren't important in the mix. As a solo sound, they're great, but with other instruments, they need to be removed because they will interfere, and they'll cause weird sort of harmonics and artifacts and stuff in your mix, which you don't want. So and
synthesizers almost always have a
full
lot
spectrum
of low, which is not needed.
Yeah, a lot of low end. You're right. Especially Roland gear. Roland gear suffers from it big time. I honestly, I still have this theory, conspiracy theory, whatever, I don't know what you want to call it, but I still think that they do have an EQ on their outputs of their synths. I reckon they boost the bottom end. I have a feeling they do. I would love to be able to prove them wrong. Someone will probably say, "You're an idiot, Rand. Have a look at the."
Just put it through an EQ. Put a white noise through an EQ and
spectrum analyzer.
A graphic.
Yeah,
spectralizer. Yeah. And watch it and compare it to a noise from another synth.
Yeah, true. You could. It could just be me. I do love the Roland sound though. I'm a bit of a bass head. I like bass. I mean, one of the things I used to get frustrated when I was a kid was when you can't afford gear, you probably didn't have very good speakers, when you're a kid, right? Money short, things like that. And you'd listen to music and you think, there's not enough bass in there. I'd love that song would be so much better if that was recorded better with more bass. And you'd listen to something else that was recorded really well. And now we know better, right? We've had the fullness of life experience that we've experienced things, and we probably have been taught things by watching and reading and listening. And we know that actually it's not that the song was recorded bad, it's the EQing that's been done on it that was probably not done well. And yeah, in some cases I've heard songs that have got Jupiter 8s or Minimos and they sound almost lifeless. Yeah, thin being...
Yeah, you can make anything sound bad.
They've put it through a high pass filter or something. Yeah, that's what we mean by thin, people. They thinned out the spectrum on it. But yeah, we're kind of going off on tangents. But yeah, making albums, I don't know. It's a labour of love. It's a labour of hate. Henrik, you've probably pumped a lot more albums out than a lot of people I know. So you have a very good, I don't know, writing ability.
No.
I feel like you have a lot of stuff that
he's
you
productive.
Need. Yeah, no, but in him, he's writing a lot of music, and that means he's got a lot of stuff that he wants to share. I think that's a brilliant thing.
It has always been a problem for me because when doing a lot, people get tired of you. So
nah.
Yeah,
I'm not tired of you.
Problem to me.
I'm not tired of you.
Nah.
No.
It's a virtue.
I mean, you would, when you make music and you play a song for a friend, you would like to have the input from your friend. But if you make a song each day, they get tired of.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
it's good or bad or whatever it is. So it's
a bit full on for the listener.
A bad thing to do.
You have to trust yourself. No, you have to trust yourself.
Yeah, I do. But it's also it's how can I say it? It's both a good thing but also a curse.
Absolutely.
So but I don't hate what I do at all. I like what I do, and I forget what I've done and do something new. And that's how I work.
This particular album, I can't remember if the previous one I did or not. It doesn't matter anyway. But in the past, I have used SoundCloud to pop music up that I've made bit by bit, and then I've probably looked at who's listened to it and whether there's any nice comments about it, and then so there's one little sort of thing, and then I might have used a few friends like you, Henrik, and then and that somehow some tracks will disappear, and then the ones that seem to be more liked, I guess, would have probably popped on an album. This particular album, I didn't do any of that. I did not seek any advice from anyone. I never went to SoundCloud. I never posted any tracks. I never, it was really, really hard to do this. I really wanted to send you guys tracks to say, hey guys, what do you think of this? I really wanted to. Like, it was, you're my mate. So
you were just being self-disciplined. Yeah.
I had to be, because I didn't want. So what was happening, right, was there was two conflicts happening with me. I was like, I really want to send Henrik or Chris or Andy a track and say, hey guys, what do you think? Because I really value your opinion. But then I didn't want to ruin the surprise. And I thought the surprise was worth more than actually, the selfish need that I had to ask you guys for your opinion.
But you would get different response if you do it before releasing. Then we would tell you this could be done like that, instead of only judging what has been done.
Yeah.
So the critics before a release would be
improving
constructive.
Yeah. That was the offset. Yeah. That was the con instead of the pro, right?
The surprise is a good thing too. There's movie trailers ruin movies these days. I like to be surprised. So I don't watch movie trailers anymore.
Yeah. So that was a very big risk, you would say, right? That was the con. The risk was that I knew that there was lots of people that hadn't heard this, and I hadn't tested it, and it was very risky for me to do this album. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of people out there that think this is shit. I just wouldn't be surprised, right? And that's okay. I'm cool with it. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. But I don't know. Like, I felt like I wasn't doing you guys. I wasn't doing you guys a favor. I wanted you to sort of experience it for the first time, from fresh, without knowing anything about it. I wanted you to experience that.
You want us to be an audience rather than a co-worker or a critic or a collaborator. You wanted us to be the audience for a change.
Yeah, and I kind of felt like I'm more than happy to sort of cop a bit of criticism if some things weren't done quite right. God, I mean, some of the tracks I had edited and re-edited, you know. So there was countless amount of hours of works going into some, and others, like, I don't know, I'll share with you some info. So I do this thing where when I do a version of the track, this might be in different stages. This might be in the actual production stage, or it might be in the mixing stage. I will then save it out, and I will put a number at the end of it, right? So that way I know the higher the number, that's the more recent version of it. So I can always go back if I need to unwind, like if I've gone down a tangent.
Roll back.
Yeah. I can always do that. And it's a pain in the ass because you end up with so much crap on your computer.
Yeah, I do the same thing with editing.
Yeah. But the cool thing about it is when you finish and it all comes out in the wash, I can literally tell you what numbers some of the tracks got to versus others. And some actually only had 1. And some had like 13. Do you know what I mean? Like, so the 13 one was probably the one I had the trouble with the mixing, but with the loudness issue. But that was probably that. And we won't go down that path. It was just, I'll start frothing at the mouth.
A painful birth.
Yeah.
I have some noise in the background. It's the sun in the bath. I don't know if you can hear it.
Oh, we can hardly hear it. Okay. Live stream listening to chat's music. What does that mean?
I would like to say something.
Yep.
Or ask you something. After you finished the product, how long has it taken? How did you take a break there, or did you listen again before release? And how long was it?
Yeah, I did a couple of those. I didn't just do one. I did a couple. And actually, the beauty of some of this was that Ian, who's the record company, has been going through selling the house and moving and things like that. So that kind of delayed the release. We probably could have released this a little bit earlier in the year. I think June, July might have been probably when it was ready. But then, and this is a good little bit of info for you guys, I managed to spank out another track while I was waiting for Ian. So, and this is a cool little story. So my son, he's 9, my youngest, and he really likes this. And I don't know why, but poor kid listening to his dad's music. And he said to me, he goes, Dad, I like this whole gate thing. This is really cool, but you should do one more track. And I said, what should I call it? And he goes, you should call it Stargate. And I went, okay.
Cool.
So what's it about? And he goes, well, it's about space and, the Stargate, and you've got all these other gates. You don't have a Stargate. What's going on? He was really, wanting me to do this sci-fi sort of themed track. And so I punched out that last track within the last couple of months. It's a bit it's a bit of a humorous track at the start where you can hear me talking and stuff.
Little cheesy.
You're a little cheesy, yeah. And I did that on purpose. I did that on purpose. At first, we thought we won't do an intro; we'll just go straight into the music. But yeah, it's that track did have a few influences though. So I used to. There's an Icelandic musician who did Eve Online music. I talked about him a few months back. What's his name? Mental blank.
Where's Google when you need it?
No. He's got a name, but I'm just trying to think. Look, I'll Google it. Bugger it. Yeah. So he's kind of one guy that I used to like listening to in the early 2000s. And what's his name? Come on. Why can't you help me, Google? His name's Real X, and I forget the name of the composer. Anyway, he's on Spotify as Real X. Sorry, I'm really having trouble the internet's not working for some reason. You guys can check it out. So I kind of thought I wanted to
2 minutes.
Yeah. I want to make a track that sounds a little bit like you're playing like a computer space game, where it's kind of like a journey, so you do have a bit of, it's kind of light and shade. You've got some speed, you've got some slow, you've got some fast, that sort of stuff. You've got some light, some shade. And I'm going to
butcher the name here, but it says John Haller Haraldson.
That's him. John Haller. Yeah, that's him. Yeah. So it's not really like, copying him or anything like that, but it's more a nod to his style. And I thought, let's do one that's kind of like that. A lot of the stuff, if you ever play those games, the music is background music. It's kind of gameplay. You've got noises over the top of it as well. It's kind of background music as well. Real X is the guy's name. He's on Spotify if you want to listen to it. So that the whole thing with Ian's move and not moving and the delay, I was able to spank out another track, and I thought, normally I don't really sort of pay a lot of attention to family because most of the time they're a pain in the ass. But I don't know. My son was kind of being pretty cool about it, so I thought I'll do it for him. In the end, he actually didn't really like the track. So it was a bit of
his fault.
It was a bit of a wreck. But it's funny because like when I first played it to him, he didn't really like it, and then I think the other day he came up to me and he goes, "Can you play that track, Stargate, again?" I went, "I thought you didn't like it." He goes, "Oh no, I like it." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I set it up for him so he could listen to it, because none of this is on any of the streaming platforms yet, so he can't. The only way for him to listen to it is if he comes into here, and I give him like on my iPad or something. So yeah, so there's a bit of family in here, and it's my life. Making music is a hobby I do, but I just thought I'd share it with you guys. A little story like that touches the heart. So,
well, it's better than the other stories you don't want to tell.
Yeah, exactly.
About family, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, God bless them.
Yeah. So the next question people have been asking me is things like, when are things available, like streaming platforms? So that's all handled by Sinners Music. So that I don't want to say wrong, but I think he said 6 weeks is when the streaming platforms will get it. And most of you guys don't really care about the streaming platforms. You're probably more, you're more sort of hanging around Bandcamp sort of stuff. It's not on Spotify. It's not on Spotify or iTunes or anything yet. So that's a 6 week delay. It will never be on SoundCloud. It's not that I don't like SoundCloud or anything. I just have decided to back away from that platform. because
It's pretty irrelevant these days.
I don't think it
for
benefits artists at all. I think it only benefits them.
It's useful for sort of file sharing type purposes.
Yeah.
That's all, man.
Yeah. And look, I don't mind SoundCloud. I've got some tracks up there that I muck around with, but I don't want to put any commercial releases up there. I don't want to do that. By the way, if you ever wanted to know, there were 16 tracks on this album. There could have been 24.
There's that discipline again.
There's that discipline. So, and no, they will not be put on to any albums because they were gate related. I just had to, I literally had to stop. That was a point where I just went, no more. So, yeah. And the bonus tracks are not the ones that were in that 24. So the bonus tracks that you'll get from Bandcamp, one of them is a mega mix, which is a 59 point something minute mega mix of all 16 tracks, Jean-Michel Jarre Equinox style, one track blending into the next. And then you've got, I've always wanted to do that, by the way. And by the way, actually, we'll come back to that in a sec, but by the way. And the second track is Utopia Part 3. So if you guys have been following me, Utopia came out on the album Link. Utopia Part 2 came out on the album Significant Bit. And now Utopia Part 3 is on my fourth album. And I will definitely be doing a Utopia Part 4 on my next album, which I'm in the middle of making right now. So getting back to that. Show that again. So I didn't see that. Yeah, there. Significant Bit. Which one's that? Utopia Part 2. Okay, cool. Did I give you a link? Yeah, you did. You got link. So Utopia, there's the original Utopia on there. Cool. Nice. So there will be CDs available. I think they're about a month away for them. So they'll be available. And they'll be purchasable through the Bandcamp store. So the question I've got for you guys is when you're doing... Say, for example, I wanted to make a CD and I wanted all of my tracks to mix into each other, right? But I'm using a external CD manufacturer. How do I then get
the no gaps thing?
The no gap thing.
Yeah, it's technical, isn't it?
I can do it here, right? And then you have to do this thing called indexing. And I use there's a couple of CD burning software you can use here, right? But
CD architecture.
I would actually be very interested to know if anyone knows. Like, say if I was to use CD Baby in the US, right? If I was to send them one file, how do I tell them that there's 16 tracks in that one file?
You don't do it like that. You send them 16 tracks, but a track will fade out in a microsecond or so, and fade in again in a microsecond. That's how you make them on an album. Else you will have clicks. So you can.
Back when I used to copy,
like that.
You can. Okay, interesting.
Back when I used to copy live CDs, I had to do the trick. There's a 2-second gap default on all the CD burning.
You just have to turn.
And I just take that gap out, and then my live copy discs play perfectly seamlessly all the way through.
And then you still get your track counts happening.
You still get your track counts, but there's no gap.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember there
it
was
gives a problem when you then have it on a streaming platform, because the different platforms have different ways of
buffering,
overlapping, cross-fading. So it may not work there at all. So it's a
probably
problem.
You
It's easy with records.
That's why you have to master for both, destinations now. And of course, CDs are becoming less used, so they're just phasing out.
Which is why I decided to do it as a bonus track that you can just download. What is it, 600 megabytes or something? It's massive.
So, I got a question. How did you do the mega mix? I haven't heard it yet, but how did you do it? Did you just... how quickly did you do it, actually, is the question I wanted to ask.
It's really easy. Yeah, it's really easy to do. So...
hit the sync button on Ableton.
The good thing about this album is that you had those corny little intros, right?
True.
Throughout this album, which makes the merging each track together quite seamless. But if you didn't have that, you would then have to add elements. You would have to
bridge.
Musically bridge element.
What about your track tempos? Do they all match?
No. They're all different. They're all different tempos. Yeah. But because you've got those tails and intros, right?
Yeah. There was no beat on the beginning and the end of all tracks, so you didn't have to beat match each one end of one into the beginning of the other.
Yeah.
Cool.
And even if I did too, I probably wouldn't have given it. Would have cared. It's like.
Yep.
What 2 BPM difference?
Close enough. I'm not a DJ.
Yeah. It was just a bit of fun, but yeah, I always, like I said, I always wanted to do it kind of, tracks where they all kind of merged into each other, so that you've got one track finishing, another track starting. I used to always love that when you listen to vinyl, right? In the old days, it was real progressive stuff in the old days, but you just can't really do that now. Have you guys ever tried to listen to like Oxygen on a streaming platform from start to finish in track order? You will get gaps. Yeah. It's bloody frustrating.
It's horrible.
It annoys the crap out of you because you literally get like a little, what is it, a millisecond, 2 millisecond gap.
Yeah. Even like a dedicated player app, between the tracks, there's always a little bit of something between them. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Gapless playback is what you should.
And I feel that it's a fault with the platforms because they should be able to, like you guys said,
pre-roll, have a pre-roll.
They should pre-roll, pre-buffer.
Yeah. Because there's plenty of albums. Like you guys could list quite a lot of albums out there. Like Pink Floyd have done it, Jean-Michel Jarre's done it, Vangelis has done it. So there's plenty that have got tracks that merge into each other. So yeah. Yep. Anyway, wow, 12:25 a.m. here. Chris and I turning into pumpkins very quickly. So yeah, that's it about my album anyway. So I think we kind of done that to death. To be honest, I've probably been boring you guys to tears. I apologise.
Oh,
cool. We should finish the show. It was a bit of a quiet show this week because SynthFest was on. No one was here. all the good people were here. Just kidding. And they all probably didn't want to come because I was talking about my album. There's the truth.
Timing, Rants. Timing.
I'm only kidding.
Oh, dear.
God, I'm tired. Right. So, 12-hour difference. You guys are probably that's probably going to change very soon though, isn't it? October. Usually guys have
the last Sunday
daylight savings
in October.
In
Europe.
So I'm confused. Does part of Australia do daylight savings and part doesn't, or none of them?
Yeah, we don't. We don't do it here, but the eastern states
Perth
do.
doesn't, but the rest. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You're like Arizona. You refuse to do it.
I don't think we really like it. Where we live here, we have quite a late sunset anyway, with the normal time. So if we were to put the clock back or forward, depending on what part of
it's more a benefit for the rest of Australia than it is for us.
Because
it's a stupid thing anyway.
It'd be really late.
Savings.
You'd be going. The sun would be setting at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. It'd be stupid. It'd be like living in Saudi,
Yeah.
Without the sand.
Without the sand. Well, yeah, there's a bit of sand here.
There's a bit of sand. Yeah.
There's a bit of sand.
We are sand gropers after all.
We are.
Officially.
We are indeed. Yes. Anyway, it's lovely to have everyone here, the chatties especially, sitting there putting up with this crap for 3 hours or whatever it is. So I do appreciate all of you guys. It's really cool. And big thanks to Ian, who came on earlier, and Kent, who came on earlier, but also massive big thanks to Andy, Chris, and Henrik for being part of the show this week. It's always lovely to have you fellas on. You're like...
cheers.
Good mates.
Good
Doing
fun.
well.
Worth getting up for. I'm still tired, but it's worth getting up for.
Yeah. All right, all the best, everyone. Don't forget to press record and have fun.
Get
with
Ranzee's
your music.
album.
If you want.
Yes.
Yeah. It's on Sinners. I probably should put the link in, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I
never did
that.
that.
Enough plugging.
There we go.
You got it?
I got it. There's the link if you want it, if you're looking for it. On Bandcamp, that is. So, yeah. Otherwise, it'll be in the blog article, description, whatever. You guys will, you'll probably get sick of me talking about it. All right. Enjoy. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.